right?
Okay, good morning, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Monday, the 13th day of July 2020. This is a municipal caucus of the Jersey City Municipal Council. In effort to adhere to social distancing protocols and best practices imposed by the city and state authorities, the city of Jersey City has canceled all public meetings and closed non-essential services as of March 16, 2020 until further notice. As a result, this council caucus will be held virtually as a video conference with public access. We had a scheduled 10 a.m. start. The clock on my computer is showing 10:04 a.m. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Thank you. Councilperson Prinzary.
Here.
Thank you. Councilperson Baggiano.
Here.
Councilperson Saleh. He did say he texted me and he said he's going to be a little late. Councilperson Solomon.
I'm here, but I'm muting no video because I got the girls.
No problem. Thank you. Councilperson Robinson.
Here.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Here.
Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman.
Here,
We have 8 members in attendance at 10:04 a.m. for the municipal caucus. In addition, at its time for its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, July 10th, 2020 at 4 p.m. to the mayor, council, business administrator, and the newspapers, and posted on our city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the council president.
good morning, everyone. Thank you for zooming in. Sean, just take it from the top, okay?
Very good. All right. So the first item we have is resolution number 20-056, item 3.1, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 3, parking, standing and stopping, amending sections 332-20, no parking at any time, 332-23, no stopping or standing, section 332-31, parking restrictions for street cleaning purposes, and 332-48, designation of parking spaces to accommodate protected bicycle lanes on Bergen Avenue. Any questions or comments on this one?
Question. Is Andrew and others here?
I don't see Andrew.
Andrew's on.
I'm here.
Okay, good.
There was just a lag in me unmuting myself.
Sure. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, good morning, Council.
Good morning. This is the same ordinance that was previously introduced and then withdrawn at one time?
Different. That previous ordinance had multiple bike lanes throughout the city. We since bifurcated the ordinances. The council previously heard the ordinance for the bike lanes in the downtown area. This ordinance is just for the changes on Bergen Avenue.
Right. There was previously introduced an ordinance on Bergen Avenue, just Bergen Avenue. That's what I'm referring to, as opposed to the downtown portions. So I'm assuming this is similar to that one, or
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I think, and I don't know, Councilman Boggiano rather may have better memory on this at this point, but or maybe I missed. I think it's probably on us if I missed, or on me if I missed it. But we were going to have some meeting as a follow-up, I think, to some of the concerns. Did that happen at some point, or is there, or was there no?
Yeah, we did have a follow-up, small group. We've reached out through email with these additional changes. We actually haven't heard anything, any complaints or anything for months about this. So yeah, and just to be clear, we are the changes here are in response to the community needs. and for some additional loading zones, moving some bus stops, that sort of thing, to make these safer, but also to make sure that those that had issues along the bike lane, in particular the funeral home there, would have all the access that they need. And we haven't heard anything from them since then.
Brian, what funeral home?
I think he's referring to the church.
Sorry,
You're talking about the church.
sorry.
And how about down by the Coptic church?
That is included in this ordinance. So one of the, I don't know what page it is in your package, but one of the pages is an exhibit showing where each of the elements of this ordinance is located along the corridor, and that exhibit shows the no parking areas for the Coptic church. They have two buildings on Bergen Avenue.
All right, Andrew, before Wednesday, I got to speak to some of the people over there and see if they're totally satisfied with this.
Understood. I think that exhibit will help them understand the changes that are made. Sometimes the ordinances are difficult to interpret for the layperson.
All right.
So that exhibit, which I'm looking at, it's the last page of the documentation. We're looking at the side of the map, or the left side of the map, I should say, as opposed to the other section, which is downtown.
Correct.
And so Brian said that a meeting was held. Can you give me the information as to when that was held and the attendance and participation in that meeting? Not at this moment, but if you can provide that for me.
Sure.
If there were multiple meetings as well, to provide that for the multiple meetings.
Rolando, we had the one big meeting, remember, at Hudson Catholic.
I know that was a big community meeting, but subsequently after that, there was a meeting in the Caucus room. I don't remember what the date was, and there were stakeholders there at the meeting.
Andrew can send. Andrew's going to send the list of all the meetings that he made.
Rolando, you were there at the Caucus meet at the room, weren't you?
I was, and then the ordinance was introduced either before that meeting or after the meeting. I don't recall the time frame. And then it was withdrawn, and then there was discussions of having a second meeting. And to be frank, and it's not on Andrew or the administration. I think it was more on myself and yourself, Councilman Boggiano, to try to reassemble the folks at that point. It may have happened. I don't recall, frankly. A lot's happened since then, so it's my mind is very hazy.
A lot.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Okay, Sean.
Okay, next item is item 3.2, City Ordinance 057. A street vacation ordinance granting permission to Day Street Properties LLC, its successors and assigns to make private improvement to and exclusively utilize the lands within the Charlotte Avenue right-of-way, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Who's here to talk about that, Brian?
You're on
Who's
I
here?
can't remember who was supposed to. Did anyone have any questions on this one?
So
Yes.
this is the vacation and franchise ordinance come from my office, and usually we do have the attorney here, but if there's any questions, if you can email them to me, I'll forward them to the attorney.
Okay. Okay.
That's
So
Bob,
what is
right?
the
Go ahead, Rolando.
who is the applicant in this?
I don't have a copy of the ordinance in front of me. If we can put it up on the screen, we can go through it.
Who has it?
The applicant is Day Street Properties, DEY. represented by Waters, McPherson, and Robert Kavanaugh.
Bob Kavanaugh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, I'll send my questions in to Sean and reach out to Mr. Kavanaugh as well.
that's my bad. I should have invited him to the caucus, and I apologize, council members.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, go ahead, Sean.
Okay, the next ordinance, item 3.3, City Ordinance 20-058, an ordinance amending Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, to create a street cleaning review commission and amend the street cleaning schedule.
Oh, my
Was that?
God. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. I'm glad to see this is moving forward, a comment there, but the section 332-31 lists which streets, and then there's a commission, and that those changes will take effect in January 1st, but the changes themselves in 332-31, are those to be held off till January 1st, 2022, or are they done before then?
Yes, so given the complexities of changing the signage and communicating the changes in operations to the city that we've seen in other places, such as in the Heights, when we established the new Zone 16 for the entire Heights, also a variety of changes that Councilman Solomon has pushed forward downtown. This is going to be a really big and long process in operation. So the date of change in service and change in the rules will not be until January 1st, 2022. It'll probably take us right up until that point to get all the signs changed and to communicate everything and to get everything done for this.
And Councilman, I think there should be some clarifying language in there. We can add that just to state that Section 31 would not go into effect until January 2022.
Let me ask you something, Brian. Did you speak with Denise and Jermaine? Y'all aware of this? Mara, y'all aware of this? Because I know I get a lot of calls in the office in you guys' area concerning like the side streets and everything that are not really clean. So I just want to make sure you guys are in the loop with this and y'all at the table discussing this, because the office receives a lot of complaints in those areas as far as streets not being clean on the side.
Understood. Understood. And this is something that commission is going to hopefully take into account. I don't know if Vernon from the mayor's office is on. He is the point person for this legislation and could probably discuss that a little bit further.
And this is just to create the commission, correct? This is not to change anything.
No, they're going to change it. 2022. It's going to be changed. That's just included in there.
Yeah, because I mean, some streets may need to be cleaned once a week. Some may not need to be cleaned at all, but there are streets in Ward F, especially on the south side, that probably need to be cleaned at least 3 times a week. Like the council president said, this is something, you know, we get a lot of complaints about trash, right? So if we're moving to change this to once a week, like I said, some areas probably don't need to be cleaned at all. You know, but in certain streets in the neighborhood, you know, especially where we have like a homeless population, you know, right by Sacred Heart on Bidwell and MLK, that street is, I get 10, 20 emails a week on just cleaning up and making sure the streets are clean and the sidewalks are clean. So I don't know if we're going to be like kind of trying to move away from street cleaning and adding more people to being on the outside sweeping sidewalks or things like that. But, you know, some streets in the neighborhood probably need to be cleaned more than 2 times a week, you know, and that's side streets. That's not all of the, you know, that's not all of the major streets. I mean, Martin Luther King and MLK and Monticello. I would definitely want to reach out to Jackson Hill, Main Street, and talk to them about this. But some of the side streets as well, you know, side streets that Jackson Hill don't represent. And I know Bidwell and Bayview and Boswick and these streets are, you know, I'm around there every day trying to make sure that we do clean those streets. So I don't think that, this is something that is for the entire city. I think this is something that, we have to go neighborhood by neighborhood to really point out. And I was going to ask that question. Is the commission, this is just to inform the commission and then in 90 days it comes back in front of us? Or is this to change immediately after the resolution is passed?
Yeah, these are, I apologize that Vernon from the mayor's office is not on the meeting right now, but these questions are definitely best answered by the commission. There is an opportunity to make changes to the street list, of course, as we go forward. If there are, for example, streets in your wards or your neighborhoods that maybe this won't work, or maybe you need more street sweeping, we can definitely have those discussions. Again, the long runway and the lead time here is to account for some of these additional revisions and updates to the streets included or not included in this. We went through the same thing in the Heights. We set out this new parking zone. We had to come back and make some additional changes. I'm sure you remember the ordinances adding little ends of dead end streets and moving the streets around and that sort of thing. So this is all to be expected in the process.
So if I may,
Yep.
Okay, I'm in a rare instance here, I'm very supportive of this measure. So if that first section 332-31, if we could circulate the list of streets listed in 332-34, which is referenced the major streets, and those major streets, according to this writing and drafting at this time, indicates that those streets will be cleaned twice per week, and that all other streets shall that are not on that list shall be cleaned once per week. And then any street that is currently cleaned Monday through Friday or Monday to Saturday, this is section C of 332-31, shall be cleaned daily, will continue to be cleaned daily. So there'll be no amendment or change to that if they're currently on a daily basis being cleaned. And I don't recall which streets there are, but those are main thoroughfares or main corridors, so to speak, where I believe those are cleaned on a daily basis, which may address a lot of those issues that are being raised right now. I thought it was, and I'll give credit where credit's due. I think that list of 332-34 is the snow removal list, or streets that are special rules regarding snow removal, and it's a very elegant way to address that and to narrow down that list. But that this committee ultimately will make it, from my reading of it, this commission will make the determination or recommendations rather that will be put forward back to the city council, I would assume, at that point to update the ordinance accordingly. So that being said, the last thing I just wanted to raise as a question is 3 members of the public will be designated by the city council, and just ask the city council president how we'll go about that process of designating 3 members.
Yes.
What's
Yes,
that?
you heard me wrong, yes. And I would like to have a conversation more so with the BA concerning this. Believe me.
Sure, and if and when we have a conversation, I'll include Vernon from the mayor's office, which is where this is coming from as well.
Please do.
Can we?
I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
I was going to say, I think that a lot of the residents are happy about having less days to move the cars and tickets, of course, but I do share some of the same concerns as Councilman Robinson and Council President with certain streets. I think that if we reduce the sweeping, we can hopefully get more boots on the ground on those main streets to clean up. And then on the side streets, not that I want to remove one set of tickets from residents and add another, but I think we really have to crack down on some of these property owners, because essentially if everyone was cleaning in front of their property, the city would be a lot cleaner. Like somebody owns every building, and to just have trash sitting out in front of your building really isn't fair. So I think we do, maybe in that process or with that review committee, we can find ways to enforce some of these litter laws or, property owners to clean up in front of their property more often.
Yeah, Denise, how about training people not to throw soda cans and soda bottles and garbage into the street? They're walking.
I know, but people are going to do it.
Come over by Dickinson High School and see the kids walking home, throwing everything into the street, and when they have lunch, throwing all the garbage in the street. You know, that's the answer.
Can I ask you a question?
VA, can we have, oh, I'm sorry. I just want to know if we could have the list circulated, that, the street list.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Councilman Lavarro is correct. It is based off of the snow emergency route list, which are the main
prepping that right
that
now.
were designated years ago to be the quote unquote main streets in the city. But again, this is something the commission can review and modify accordingly. But we will send that to you shortly. Yes.
I'm going to mail that out in a couple of minutes, so keep an eye out for it.
I had a quick question. I just want to make sure, and Brian, you said something, I just want to clarify. I generally am supportive of this, but I want to make sure this doesn't delay the changes we passed last year to sort of the parking rules down here, which didn't touch street sweeping, but were just about residential parking.
No delay, no effect on that.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure we're moving forward. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, Councilman, we should follow up offline because I can't remember where we were with all that.
Yeah, perfect. I'll send you an email.
Great.
Any more questions? Okay, Sean.
Okay, next item, 3.4, City Ordinance 20-059, an ordinance to amend the Land Development Ordinance, Chapter 345, Section 68, for the signage requirements for commercial usage on the 2nd through the 5th floor in the neighborhood commercial zone.
Go ahead. Is someone from planning on? Tanya?
I can speak to this. So this is a small request that we have the local business community has asked of us. Long story short, signage is only permitted on the 1st floor for businesses. This allows businesses to post signage on the 2nd floor if they have a 2nd floor business in the neighborhood commercial zone only. So not anywhere in the city, just in the business districts around the city, 2nd through 5th floor.
Any questions? No lighters, right? It won't be light because I know.
No, there are no changes to the restrictions on signage as far as the distance away from the building, the shape, the size, the lighting, and any of that stuff. It's just allowing the signs to be affixed to the building above the 1st floor, only up to the 5th floor. So, for example, if you have a doctor's office on Newark Avenue downtown, it's on the 3rd floor. You couldn't put a sign on the building until this.
Okay. Any questions? Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, the last first reading ordinance, item 3.5, City Ordinance 20-060, an ordinance amending Chapter 160 Fees and Charges, Section 160.1 Fee Schedule Established, subsection P, Chapter 175 Food Handling Establishment of the Jersey City Municipal Code to waive the temporary food sponsor fee for nonprofit organizations for the duration of the COVID-19 state of emergency.
Any questions?
Just, can you share what prompted this, or I'm fine with, it's just,
Because different events people were having that's nonprofit outside, and they always have to pay that $100 fee, and because of COVID now they're having challenges, even getting money. So that's why. So we figured, well, they came to me and we figured that, maybe during COVID they wouldn't have to pay the $100 fee.
oh, I see, it was yours. I didn't see that, Council President.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
fine. Yep.
Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. On to our second reading ordinances. Item 4.1, City Ordinance 20-048, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a deed easement with COA 99 Hudson LLC, 99 Hudson Condominium Association, Inc., the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, and the City of Jersey City affecting Block 14507, Lot 1, also known as 99 Hudson Street and 100 Green Street. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Next item, 4.2, City Ordinance 20-049, amendments to chapters 345-16 and chapter 345-33 of the Land Development Ordinance in response to COVID-19 regarding temporary removal of thresholds for minor site plan review. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Next one, item 4.3, City Ordinance 20-051, an ordinance ratifying the approval of the sale of the 114-unit project-based Section 8 Family Housing Development to Van Wagon 2 Urban Renewal LLC pursuant to the Limited Dividend Nonprofit Housing Corporations or Association Law NJSA 55-16-1 exec, and the transfer and assignment of the project's tax exemption. Any questions or comments on this one?
Just a comment. So just on this as well as the other two, and I'll be very brief, which is I think these things should come forward with regard to the transfer of an assignment of the tax exemption, should come forward with a renewal in the future. And I would even encourage for this one as well, but because we want to preserve the affordable housing and the Section 8 housing here, and unless there's some other way to do that that I'm not aware of, and I'm happy to be educated on that. If there's another way to do it, other than kind of renewing the tax abatement and the tax exemption in order to preserve the affordability, ensuring that they continue to be affordable units, then I think it should be part of the same ordinance. As it stands right now, we're going to hope that it kind of happens at some future date, and that's all I have to say on that.
Someone else?
Okay, next item is 4.4, City Ordinance 20-052, an ordinance ratifying the approval of the sale of a 40-unit project-based Section 8 family housing development located at 277-283 Bergen Avenue, Jersey City, to Bergen Manor Urban Renewal LLC pursuant to the Limited Dividend Nonprofit Housing Corporations or Associations Law, NJSA 55-16-1 exec, and the transfer and assignment of the project's tax exemption. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Next item, 4.5, City Ordinance 20-053, an ordinance ratifying the approval of the sale of a 25-unit project-based Section 8 family housing development located at 2348-2354 John F. Kennedy Boulevard, Jersey City, to Kennedy Manor Urban Renewal LLC pursuant to the Limited Dividend Nonprofit Housing Corporations or Associations Law, NJSA 55-16-1 exec, and transfer the assignment of the project's tax exemption. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, moving on. Next item, 4.6, City Ordinance 20-054, an ordinance repealing Chapter 296, Streets and Sidewalks of the Jersey City Municipal Code in its entirety and adopting a new version.
Just a question in relation to this, but because this was kind of a companion legislation to the previous ordinance related to off-duty work. So the last one was passed on June 24th, and so I believe this Wednesday will be the 20th, or maybe tomorrow, I believe is the 20th day from the date of that ordinance, which would go into effect. So it was supposed to restore off-duty work to Jersey City police officers, as opposed to it being farmed out to state police or Hudson County sheriff's officers and so forth. Can you confirm that that's actually going into effect, and could we get some information as to whether or not that's going to happen, or that's if there are new assignments being assigned already, kind of
So,
moving forward.
so Councilman, the effective date of that ordinance is actually September 1st.
Wow.
And that, right, and then this ordinance, which is on the agenda now, the effective date for this one, presuming it's passed, will also be September 1st. So these two, they go together, so they have to be effective together, and we pushed it back to September 1st to allow for that to happen because they didn't appear in the same schedule at the same time.
Okay, thank you, John.
Okay.
Danny? September 1st now?
Once we vote that in, I think we were going to do a resolution to waive those 20 days.
That's what I recall as well.
Well, the one thing I would just point out is that the traffic control manual, there was no resolution to waive or alter the effective date for that ordinance. So that is September 1st. This ordinance for 296, you could certainly change it if you wish to make the effective date sooner, but that means that the manual, which they're supposed to go together, would kind of still be hanging off for another 40 days, 47 days. And obviously it's up to you, but the intent is to have them all go together. And if I may, I'm not sure that it makes a whole great difference whether it's September 1st or, it's a month and a half. I mean, I'm sure it matters to somebody, but for the purposes of enforcement, it makes it a lot easier for the city that everything be obviously effective at the same time.
Danny, I'll speak to you later after the meeting. And Mira.
Okay.
Any
All
other
right,
questions or
Any more
comments? Okay, hearing none.
Okay.
Next item, 4.7, City Ordinance 20-055, an ordinance authorizing the execution of 2 deeds of easement by and between 100 Hoboken Avenue Partners LLC, North LLC, and the City of Jersey City, affecting Block 6001, Lot 40, and Lot 10, also known as 100 Hoboken Avenue and 110 Hoboken Avenue. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. That would be the last second reading ordinance. And just a reminder to the members of the public and council members, second reading ordinances, you must communicate with me during the meeting through the Gov Q&A to let me know that you're wishing to speak on a second reading ordinance, and we will call you as long as you provide us with your contact information. All right, next we're going to have a public hearing on the 2020-2021 Journal Square Special Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. This is also the same thing. If members of the public that wish to speak on this hearing would have to contact me through the Gov Q&A and provide me with their contact information, and we will add them and call them during the meeting, during this portion of the meeting. After that, we will, excuse me?
Sean, you do that, they contact you during the meeting, correct?
That's correct. It's just, it would be the equivalent of us being live at the council chambers and someone looking to speak, they would just basically come up and state their name for the record.
Right.
So next one would be the public hearing on the fiscal year 2020 municipal budget. Same thing occurs with this. The members of the public would provide me a contact number and their name through the live Q&A, so then we can contact them if they wish to speak during the public hearing on the municipal budget.
Sean, and to Ms. Waterman, if we put up the Liberty Science Center first, I think it would eliminate a lot of the people who want to speak. That's the main issue, and why most of the people are signing up.
Which we already had that in mind to do.
So that that during the meeting, one of the council members can make a motion to defer, and then you need a second, and then we would vote on that motion to defer to that item. Next is the public
Sean,
speaking.
I'm
Yes,
sorry, before you proceed, just on those two public hearings, on
Right.
the SID budget and the FY 2020 budget, what is the effective speaker time limit on those?
well, during the public hearing on budgets, there's a 5-minute rule.
And then the SID?
Yeah,
On budgets, it's 5 minutes.
correct.
But the SID is 3 minutes?
So I believe the ordinance strictly says the municipal budget. I will have to double check that, that ordinance that we recently adopted with the time change, but I don't know if it addresses the special improvement district's budgets. I'll double check that.
I'll
Can
look
you
that up.
chime in? Peter will look it up for us while during the meeting, and then hopefully we'll get that answer right away. I'm sorry I don't know that off the top of my head, but
It's fine. Thank you, Sean.
problem.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, so our public speakers right now go to 89. There was one duplicate that I'll have removed. There are quite a few public speakers that have to be added to the agenda. We're going to be well over 100 before we get to Wednesday. Next are the petitions and communications, item 6.1 through item 6.37. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Office of Communications 7.1 and 7.2. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Reported directors, items 8.1 through 8.5. Any questions or comments?
Just on 8.4. So this is repealing executive order and returning all city operations. Can we get can I get a copy of that? And Brian, can you just speak to what this effectively does?
Yeah, sure. This returns the city to regular operations where feasible and safe. We've been working hard over the last few months to, as we all know, stop the spread of the virus. We've taken many different precautions across the city to keep our employees and our visitors to public facilities safe as well. We've implemented a variety of protocols and safety procedures, including, as I'm sure you've seen, body temperature scanning at every municipal facility, mask requirement to be worn in all, or face covering requirement to be worn in all common areas. We've made all of our restrooms single occupancy. We are doing virus symptom checks of all employees. We're putting up partitions and other barriers between any possible interaction points or points of close contact with the public or other employees. We're doing more aggressive and more frequent cleaning and sanitizing of our public spaces. And of course, also, we are doing virus testing for all employees every 30 days. We're at the point now where we are feeling very comfortable and confident in our ability to return to normal operations. We have basically done so already. There are, of course, some offices where not all of the safety measures have been implemented yet. For example, there are some cubicles and other common workspaces that are not fully protected. And so those areas are not yet 100% back to work and are on some work from home or remote working rotations. But otherwise, what we're doing is we're going through and we're doing visual in-person inspections of every office to make sure that their office is safe. And if so, we're allowing everyone to come back to 100%. Now, keep in mind, back in May, the mayor signed an executive order bringing some staff back to work, 25% or more. And at that point, almost everyone in the city was reporting to the office at some point. So this is just having more people in the office at a safe distance, of course, at any given day.
Okay.
Brian, can I ask you, I think 8.5, I think Greg Kearse as the acting director of the DPW, where's Allison?
Yeah, this is a very sudden and rapid announcement, and we didn't want to have to do it at the caucus meeting, but Allison is unfortunately resigning her position. She will be leaving Jersey City altogether. We will let her communicate some additional details around that, but it is family and personal reasons that she is leaving. So yeah, we are really grateful and appreciative of all the work that Allison did for the city. She brought the Department of Public Works to an entirely new level. The responsiveness and the quality of service have exponentially improved in a very short amount of time. We're thankful for her service. We wish she could stay longer. We didn't think that we'd get her for this long, but we got a few extra months out of her, given her personal life issues that she was having. It.
Brian, she was great. Called her up and whatever problems you had, she took care of right away.
Yep, absolutely.
So how does this work with regard to Greg as OEM director? He's serving in both capacities?
Yeah, he's going to serve in both capacities. He's done this before. I can't remember exactly when it was that he did it. But yeah, he's going to serve in both capacities as acting.
And from a salary perspective, how does that work?
We'll of course be adjusting his salary accordingly to be within the range for Public Works Director here.
And is that a temporary setting at that point while he serves that until?
It would, yes. Theoretically, I guess if he were to go back to just the OEM director, it would revert back to whatever salary or salary range that he was previously in.
So who's responsible for OME?
What's that?
Who's responsible for the OME now? He's still gonna be over that also? How is it gonna?
He's doing both.
Could you hear me?
Not that great, actually.
Okay, Greg, Mr. Pierce is moving over to DPW, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so he's leaving his position altogether?
No, I hear you now. He is going to be positioned and stationed at the Public Works building. He is going to be performing both duties, though. Acting capacity as Public Works Director.
How long is this? You said it's temporary. How long?
This is a regular acting appointment. It's a 90-day appointment. We can of course renew it if we need to, as needed. We've renewed. Many of us as directors have been appointed acting director before, and we've also had directors such as Director Kearse serve in an acting capacity temporarily and then go back to his previous position once we have a permanent person selected.
Okay, I'm with Councilman Boggiano with this one because Allison was amazing. I mean, when you called her, she was always right on top of it, and DPW serves the entire city. But I know we over on the south side has so many complaints, and she was always right on top of it, especially when it came to trash. Will Greg have will he have an assistant? Because doing OEM and because the emergency management, I'm sure is a full-time job. I'm sure he's been getting a lot of work done over there. But doing both, it's gonna really be I would say challenging because they're both full-time positions. So would we have like an assistant or someone that can really be able to take those emails and phone calls to get the stuff out? Because like Councilman Boggiano stated, Allison was right on point. As soon as you emailed or called or text, she was getting the job done. And I don't want the service that we were getting over here to, kind of slow down or lack.
Jermaine, yep. John Lynch is great also.
Understood. We're having some conversations this week about readjusting and moving some people around possibly and making sure that the service level doesn't decrease at all. Yeah.
And I'll just stop, Brian. I know Greg would do a great job. I know he'll do a great job because he does well where he's at right now. But my concern is that I get a lot of calls concerning how supervisors and directors treat that staff. I've been complaining about this for the longest. I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, to be perfectly honest. And it seems like nothing is being done. Nothing. So now I'm at this point, I'm frustrated. I am, because I get a lot of complaints how the directors, Allison was great. She was not in that, she didn't fall in that category. But some of the supervisors over there, how they treat their staff.
Sure, we can definitely.
And so you putting Greg there, which will do a terrific job, but then some of those supervisors will be bumped up, and then they're going to treat the staff just as worse. So that's my concern.
Sure, I will. I'll make it a priority to speak with Director Kearse as one of the first priorities that he addresses when he comes in there to make sure we're handling this.
You say that, Brian, but this time I don't have no hope at this point, because I'm getting too many calls. I'm telling you, I really don't. I'm getting too many calls, and everybody over there, they're getting different positions, and the people who work the hardest are being left out. And at this point, I'm getting a little frustrated with it, because I'm tired of receiving the calls, because over there, some of the supervisors and managers do not know how to treat people. That is the problem. I keep saying it. And we keep giving people positions.
Yep, understood. We'll work with Director Kearse on this.
And let me just echo, going back to what Councilman Robinson said, and I think Director Kearse is a very capable administrator, so I'm not knocking him in any way, shape, or form. But having both in the middle of COVID, the Office of Emergency Management is critical, right? So having his attention kind of split between two positions, certainly understand the need to bring in someone in active capacity. But I do hope this is short-lived, and that we have a full-time OEM director in addition to a full-time Department of Public Works, both positions critical during a time of COVID, but I would say OEM in particular, as we anticipate a second wave, and so necessary to have undivided attention and leadership in that regards to address the needs of the city moving forward. That's all I have to say on that. Council President, may I go back to 8.4? I didn't really get to. Brian, thank you for.
You want to go back to where?
8.4. Regarding the return to city operations and functions and normal schedules. What's that, Council President?
Any more questions concerning Greg Kearse? No more questions? Okay. Now we can go back. Okay.
So just Brian on 8.4 and returning to, so you discussed the idea of 100% employee return. What about employees who been working from home, and they may have situations similar to the schools and so forth, right? So where teachers are being asked to go back into the classroom, where maybe they're up in age a little bit and maybe more vulnerable to the virus, or they have people at home that they have to care for as well as their caregivers. I mean, what is the situation there with regard to employees who have been receiving some sort of exemption, I assume, and or being authorized to be able to work from home? Are they now being asked to come to work and under these circumstances and in that regard?
We can definitely have this conversation offline, but long story short, there are exemptions and in place for employees that are high risk from a health perspective. Of course, we've been doing this the entire time, and it's something that's continuing. We're asking everyone to submit certain paperwork to HR as needed, and they are handling that accordingly. But if, you know, I know it's not really an agenda item. We can definitely continue to discuss. We got a long list of stuff here.
Okay. I'll talk to you offline about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead, Sean.
I'm sorry about that. I got interrupted. Okay, so claims, the claims just the claims so far, that's 9.1. On to our resolutions. Item 10.1, Resolution 20-442, resolution to cancel 2018 and 2019 real estate taxes on consolidated lots. Item 10.2, resolution to cancel a portion of 2019 real estate taxes for Block 16402, Lot 22, condominium units 1 and 2 due to erroneous assessment. That's Resolution 20-443. Item 10.3, Resolution 20-444, resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City urging the New Jersey State Legislature to enact the Liberty State Park Protection Act, Senate Bill S1449 and Assembly Bill A2189.
I don't have a question, but I know we have a lot of speakers that's going to be coming out speaking on that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Hello?
Can't hear you.
Hello.
Get better?
Do you have a headset on, Councilman Rob?
I don't. I don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
getting
better.
close.
That's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So with the resolution, I actually put in a resolution. I know it was a late ask. I'm asking the council president that if we can add this resolution on. And the resolution actually just speaks to the governing body or the governing structure of the Liberty State Park Protection Act. And, and it asks for minority participation. And because as of right now, I think we have the governor's office has 2. Friends of Liberty State Park has 1. The Parks Coalition has 1. I think the Gatekeeper has 1. And so what I was asking to do is, the same thing I've been talking about is not leaving the voices of the south side of the city out. So the resolution just speaks to that. And it also speaks to cleaning up the 235 acres of land over there and uplands of Liberty State Park. It doesn't mention anything about the 20 acres. And I think we're all probably in support of, leaving that 20 acres over there as is. But this speaks to the other part, the other 235 acres that we would, clean that up and also have minority participation on that board. I know Councilwoman Prinzeri asked that, that they would include, at least the Ward F representative or some capacity of someone on the south side of the city. It also, and it just speaks to that, the 235 acres and just putting someone in from the minority community to be a voice and someone who can, speak to recreation for the city as well, because I know they said that they wanted the park to be part passive, part recreation, and that 235 acres, 1, I think really needs to be cleaned up, and 2, I think we should be thinking about, recreation facilities as well as, passive. So I wanted to ask the council president. I know I sent it out to everyone, including the clerk and the BA, to, add this resolution in since we're going to have a lot of speakers already on it. I just wanted to make sure that our voices are heard. So council president, if you can give the permission to add a late item and the resolution that I submitted. Thanks.
Let me start out by saying, the only reason why I can't add it because I turned down 2 resolutions already because it passed the due date. And so I know they are watching right now at us. And so if I submit one, then they'll say I'll have favorites. And this resolution here that you're submitting, it's just to add for the committees, correct?
Yeah,
it doesn't really have nothing to do with the other resolution that's on. This is a separate resolution.
It definitely has something to do with it, because if we pass this resolution, then if we pass the resolution that we're speaking about now, it basically, eliminates the voices of the south side of the city.
Eliminate the voices if we bring back this resolution. I'm just trying to see how.
Because if you look at the resolution, it has this, I think, 7 people that is a part of the committee. And I'm asking to add people to that committee. So if we pass this resolution now.
Maybe we can revise the current Liberty State Park Protection Act resolution to include this language as well. So we're not adding a resolution, we're combining the two of them into one.
I mean, that sounds good.
So then let me ask you something. If we combine it, do we have to start all over? I mean, what will happen from a legal point of view? Nick or Peter, are you on? How much will it change the resolution?
Peter, you there?
Yeah, I was having a little hard time hearing the question. Could you repeat that, please?
They want to combine these resolutions.
I mean, if the council wants to do that, that is, something we can do. We could add Councilman Robinson's portion to what is currently on the agenda.
Well, look, and we're still going to vote on it this Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, we would still vote on it, and both of the resolutions, in essence, are urging the state legislator to take certain action. So it's not like there's a contractual requirement that is in conflict between the two of them.
All right, because this has to get over with. Everybody's complaining. We have to vote on it and get it over with. We have to save Liberty State Park.
Just to clarify.
State Park, but I'm just trying to figure out how we have to do this, okay?
So just to clarify, Council President, if I may.
Down, and I know the rest of the council did anyone get a chance to read it or anything like that? We're just trying to figure this out. Because when you send resolutions at the last minute, to be perfectly honest, I didn't get a chance to read it.
Okay, can I speak to this, Council President? I'm sorry. So the resolution that's on the agenda currently was introduced by Councilperson Solomon, and I co-sponsored it. I don't know who else co-sponsored, but I requested to be a co-sponsor. That being said, I would not approve as a co-sponsor of the resolution, and I can't speak for Councilman Solomon on this, but and I know he's preoccupied at this moment, but I would not approve of kind of merging the language without having read the language to be done. So I've not seen the language that's being discussed by Councilman Robinson. I'm not familiar with it, and frankly, I'm not. And I would say with 2 days to go, I probably wouldn't be inclined to amend the resolution as it stands now without having fully vetted kind of the language that's being presented and being able to review that more closely. So for my purposes, from my perspective, I would not want to see the current resolution amended. Certainly, the resolution can be amended at the council meeting if any council member can make the motion to amend it, the appropriate language that they would do to insert there. And I would be under no, I would not have any authority to stop that sort of motion from happening, and I wouldn't try to. That's everyone's right as a council person to amend whatever's on the agenda when it's presented. And then the normal course of business or action would be to take a vote on the amendment itself and move it from there, and then the council can determine then at that point if the amendment were to pass whether or not they would support the resolution with the amendments. But for my purposes, I would not approve the amendments without having seen them in advance, and I certainly would want more time than now to do that. And I'm intent on seeing this get voted on July 15th as we promised at the last meeting on June 24th.
Anyone else? Who's sponsoring? Anyone else?
It's Councilman Solomon here briefly. So just very briefly, I think substantively, changing the advisory board committee, I think makes sense for the LSP Act. We could talk about a small change to the current resolution to reflect that. I think, though, a broader merging, is going to be too difficult to do in 48 hours. I personally am also comfortable with Councilman Robinson's his resolution being added as a late item and us just reading it and considering it. But I understand from procedurally, it's difficult for the council to do. But so I'm happy to take a very quick look at the advisory board language. But I think the broader merging, I took a quick look at the councilman's resolution, and it's, a couple hundred words. I think that would be too difficult to do in 48 hours.
Someone else?
Well, thank you, Councilman Solomon. I hopefully that we can add it as a lead item. But like I said, the language only speaks to the advisory board, and it speaks to, cleaning up and having some recreation there. I think, like I said, we're all in agreement to that land over there by the golf course, that should not be touched, or, especially the community has been talking about it and talking a lot about it. But the other 235 acres, I really don't think that we should kind of make this judgment without having the voices from the community to be a part of it. It's, like I said, it's just speaking towards the structure, the governing structure of the advisory committee, just adding, people on, because if not, then, it's I guess it's business as is and how it's always been. And I truly wouldn't want to move forward with that without having, the voices of the community heard. It only talks about the uplands. It only talks about the other part of the Liberty State Park. It doesn't mention, whether or not we should be doing anything to the I guess the 20 acres over by the golf course. It's just about the part over by that's, basically gated off right now. And I'm not sure exactly what's planned for that. I mean, I think it's like a bird sanctuary but I mean, it's enough land, 235 acres, which is about 40% of the usable land that we have in Liberty State Park now. And in order to have any recreation over in Liberty State Park without adding this, this cleanup, then we would have to kind of maneuver and change the structure of what's already there, which I don't really believe would be the necessary or the right thing to do, like trying to change where Freedom Way is, or, anything else where the playgrounds are. We wouldn't be trying to change that. We'd just be trying to add, the recreation purposes over to the place that's not cleaned up. I mean, it's gated off as of right now. I think we should have a total cleanup over there, and we should be suing, as a city, as a state, as a DEP, we should be suing whoever left the contaminants there, the same way we did Bayfront and the same way we did the Canal Crossing and Berry Lane Park. We should be suing those people to clean it up. I'm not sure who left it there. I'm not sure exactly what kind of contaminants are there, but we should be looking at, cleaning that area up and having some voices from the, the south side of the city, which I've been asking for, repeatedly over and over again, to be a part of the, the conversation. It's never been about golf courses. It's always been about the voices of the people being heard. So if I would really want this to be added as a lead item, because we have been going back and forth, spending a lot of time on Liberty State Park. And of course, I want it voted on Wednesday as well. We all said that we were going to do it. I've had hundreds of conversations with people from the neighborhood, and this resolution only points out that, there is no one here to be a part of that advisory committee.
Peter, let me ask a question. Each resolution really stands on its own merit, correct? Based on what I'm hearing.
President, you're a little low. I'm not sure if you have headphones on, but.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Peter, are you there? Council President is looking on you. Peter?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. It's cutting in and out. Can you repeat that question, please? I apologize.
Okay.
Council President.
The resolution really stands on its own merit, to be perfectly honest. One really has nothing to do with the other. Based on what I'm hearing Councilman Robertson saying, he wants to make sure that there's representation on the board. He wants to make sure that they find out who can clean up on the site. He wants to make sure the voices of the community heard in that era. Whereas this resolution is to protect the privatization. Am I correct? It's two different.
Yeah, I mean, this resolution. I mean, the resolution 10.3 that's on the agenda for Wednesday is, urging the state legislature to pass the Liberty State Park Protection Act. Those other matters, I mean, they could be included in this resolution, or it could be done by a separate.
They don't want them included. This is
Okay.
Listen to me. Rolando's a part of the sponsor on this resolution, correct? You're a sponsor, Rolando, correct?
I am, but look, I will work with whoever else is sponsor. So James is the prime sponsor on this. Like he authored it. So if he's open to certain amendments, I'm not going to fight against that. But
so let's ask this question. Then Jermaine, are you just willing to add, all James could agree with, are you willing to just add the committee portion? That's all. And then you have to write enough, the other portion has to be submitted at another time because they have to look into the language. Because
Okay,
I don't want to add another resolution because we at our max now.
Why
Yeah,
don't
no,
we just pass this one ordinance and let Jermaine make the other ordinance, and we pass that at the next meeting?
I'm trying to give Jermaine an option here.
So what I can do, and Councilman Solomon, I think you're still here. If myself and Councilman Solomon can talk over the next 48 hours to see what language can be added, and then we can just, amend it on Wednesday, or we just vote to amend it on Wednesday. But I would rather, talk to Councilman Solomon and whoever else to try to get this language inside of that ordinance, because like I said, the ordinance, the resolution as it stands has, I think, 7 members of the committee.
Okay, whatever it has, we got it. Whatever it has, that's fine. You and Solomon can speak about it, okay?
Okay.
I'd like
That's fine.
To merge it, but I'm not adding another resolution.
I'd like to make a comment.
I'm not adding another resolution on this agenda, so you can see if you can merge.
I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead.
Can I make a comment? I just want to be clear that, at the last council meeting, we went on the record stating that once there's a community meeting, which I believe there was, that we was going to come back here and vote in that resolution. So we have to make sure, you have to be careful, because we've already said that, we've already committed that we're going to vote for that resolution, the resolution that's in place right now. So if you're going to amend, and Councilman Robinson, if you're going to speak to Councilman Solomon, I think the conversation has to be, and this is my opinion, I think the conversation has to be, would we consider doing a new resolution or another resolution? We just have to be careful when we stated at the last meeting that we will be voting for this resolution. So I don't think there were amendments in mind, voting, this resolution in.
I've been very adamant from the beginning about adding the voices of the people. It's up to you guys. I would not vote for that resolution. Not that I don't want to, not that I want to privatize Liberty State Park, but the voices of the people has always been the main concern of mine. Not whether or not, and so, like I said, I would love to just sit down and talk to, Councilman Solomon to review what's going on, and if he's able to, or we're able to come up with some amendments, or just adding that language in about having, more representation. That's been my concern from day one, and I've been saying it. I know a lot of people talk about the golf course and the owner of the golf course, but my resolution only speaks to the 235 acres that's, a half a mile away from there. The other 20 acres, like I said, I think we all believe that should be there, and we all believe that it should be a park that's open and public for everyone. It's just been my talking points for the last, just to make sure our voices are heard.
Okay.
The only thing that I would add to that, as somebody who's also a co-sponsor, as I said at the previous meeting, I do think it's important for the advisory committee to have representation from the ward where the park is. Somebody who has the largest park in my ward, it's a county park. So I'm involved with some of the conversation, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's up to the county and up to the state. And I think that what's important to remember here is that the conversation around how the park is going to be used is going to be a much broader and much longer conversation. So I think adding representation from, Ward F into this resolution makes sense. But when you're stepping into a resolution talking about how the land use is going to be considered moving forward, totally separate conversation, and it really should be a separate resolution in and of itself. But it's really important for people to remember that while we're passing this resolution, this is a suggestion. It is not going to be anything that is acted on. That's ultimately going to be up to the state. And I think it's really important for us to communicate that clearly to residents so they don't have a false sense of what may or may not happen. So that's
the park is in more than one place. It belongs to, isn't it? Is E out of the park now? It used to be part of Ward E, and is Ward B part of it, or Ward A? Ward A.
The park is in Ward F. The area of Cave and Point is in Ward A, but the park is in the park.
Because then they changed it at the last elections 10 years ago.
So,
again, consensus. So,
based on the conversation, what I'm hearing, it seemed like no one would have a problem just adding a board member to the resolution. So Solomon and Robertson should have a conversation. If they cannot agree to that, then the resolution move forward as is, and we would have to add next time Robertson resolution on the next agenda, because it's two totally different issues when it comes to the land use and everything like that, and the recreation. All right?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Council President, can I just make one last comment? That works for me as well. I just would like to ask if I know that Councilman Robinson and Solomon will have that conversation. Ask that Councilman Robinson if you can furnish the current language that you're playing with or drafting, so that I can read it in advance and whatever you guys ultimately work out, and I'm sure you'll communicate that with us. But I'd like to know what I'm contemplating. And if you could get that to me before tomorrow morning, that'd be great. So I could just kind of take a look at that and see what's going on there.
Okay. Okay, Sean, is you clear? Because I know we was going back and forth. I don't want to confuse you.
I think I have it. I mean, as long as they're going to have the conversation between Councilman Robinson and Solomon, and if they do come to an agreement, we'll have a motion to amend the resolution to add that language regarding the members, adding the board members. If they cannot come to that agreement, then we're going to move forward as is on the resolution as it is on the agenda currently.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Alrighty, next item, 10.4, Resolution 20-445 is a resolution appointing Kathleen Hardy as a member of the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.5, Resolution 20-446, a resolution increasing the bid threshold and appointing Raquel Y. Tasato as the City of Jersey City's qualified purchasing agent pursuant to NJSA 40A11-3 and NJAC 5:34-5. Excuse me, any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.6, Resolution 20-447, a resolution appointing Ruben A. Alicia as an alternate member number 2 of the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority. Any questions or comments?
I have a quick question, sure. And maybe this doesn't matter or in any way, but do you have to be a resident or no?
The question is, do you have to be a resident of the city in order to serve on the Municipal Utilities Authority?
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
I doubt it.
Maybe not, since it's technically autonomous agency. I don't know.
Where does she live, Denise?
Bayonne.
You're talking about Reuben.
Ruben, yeah.
Yeah, Kathy lives
I
in.
mean, or it could be that the resume just wasn't, the address wasn't updated.
I don't believe that you do have to live in the city in order to serve on the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority, but Peter can double check me on that. I don't believe there is a residency requirement with that, since it's an autonomous agency and board.
Yeah, Peter stepped away for a moment, but yeah, we'll double check that for you, Councilwoman.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, next item, 10.7, Resolution 20-448, a resolution introducing and approving the 2020-2021 budget of the McGinley Square Special Improvement District and directing the city clerk to publicly advertise the budget and schedule a public hearing, and directing the tax assessor to prepare an assessment roll of the properties within the district based upon the budget. Any questions or comments? So before I move on, just looking quickly at that resolution, and Peter can, or Nick can verify that the 3 and 5 minute, the 5 minute rule only applies, in my opinion, when I read the ordinance, only applies to the municipal budget, does not apply to the SID budgets. So that would be a 3 minute rule with the SIDs. That was directed for Council President. I mean, excuse me, Councilperson Lavarro.
Yeah.
Nick?
Okay.
Yeah, Peter and I will discuss it, and we'll get back to everybody with a firm legal interpretation of that. I understand. I should understand both perspectives of it, but we'll take a look at it and get back to everybody.
I really appreciate it. Okay. Item 10.8, Resolution 20-449. It's a resolution accepting the assessment roll of the Journal Square Special Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. Item 10.9, Resolution 20-450. The resolution adopting and ratifying the 2020-2021 budget of the Journal Square Special Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. Any questions on either item, because they kind of go together? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.10, Resolution 20-4451 is a resolution extending a license agreement with the Jersey City Public Schools for use of Block 28204, Lot 41, 166 Stanford Avenue. Any questions or comments?
I have a question. So this parking lot is still being utilized by the teachers, because this is up towards the old PS20. And so the current PS20 is down on Ocean Avenue. Do they not have parking at that new school? And I'm not opposed to them having the parking. So I just wanted to clarify if somebody could look into that, because if they already have parking, then maybe there's another use for this. I don't know if the new school that was built some years ago now, but.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Let me confirm with the Board of Ed on the current uses of both of the lots. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head how much parking they built in the new location.
Okay.
Do we know what's going on in the old building? Like, is this parking for something that the Board of Ed is doing at the old building, or are we saying this is just overflow from if you don't find a park at the new 20 school?
Yeah, good question. Let me get more information on what they need this parking for. I'm not sure either what they're doing in that building. I know they're using it for something, but I can't remember.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, next item, 10.11, Resolution 20-452. It's a resolution extending a license agreement with the Jersey City Public Schools for use of Block 14305, Lot 8, 93 Grand Street. Any questions or comments?
So this is down at PS16. Is this where they put in the new playground equipment over there? I just recently pass by there.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So the playground is only in the northeast corner of the parking lot. It does not encompass the entire parking lot. So some of it is still available for parking.
right. With regard to the playground equipment, so is that our land where the playground equipment is, or is it not our land?
Yeah, that is city property.
So, I mean, does the public have access to that playground equipment, or is that strictly for school use?
I think you're muted, Brian.
Oh, I'm muted. Apologies. Yeah, it's public property. Councilman Solomon has been a part of the improvement in that intersection there. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share about the project.
Sure. I mean, the goal is, the goal is for it to really be a city park, so that the people have access to it. I believe, obviously, if the school is using it during the day and it's in the agreement, the school can have access, during those school hours.
Sure.
But it is open access. There have been some questions about the fence and the height of the fence, and I'm not sure where that shook out. And so I'll ask some questions around that. But basically, the idea being, on a Saturday or Sunday, it's entirely open to the public, whereas obviously now it's fenced off, or had been until the improvements were made. And then, during the school day, the school's able to have some degree of exclusive use of it.
So it will be open to the public on Saturdays and Sundays?
Yes. Yep. Evenings, all that other stuff.
Excellent.
Okay, I just want to record Councilperson Soleil present at 11:24 a.m. So we now have all 9 council members present. Next item, 10.12.
Hallelujah.
City Resolution 20-453. Resolution extending a license agreement with the Jersey City Public Schools for use of Block 14602, Lot 27, 198 Plainfield Avenue. Any questions or comments?
So this is just to continue to allow this school to park in that lot, correct?
Yes, correct.
Thanks.
Can I use this opportunity, Councilperson Prinzari, you had started the initiative, which was a good one, to get parking, I think, at different public schools. Is this one of those sites, or for public parking?
Currently, all of these school lots are open for public parking. And the idea, once we did the pilot, was to roll it out citywide. So the short answer to that is yes. But again, this is the parking program is on off hours. So the school staff utilizes the lot during the day from 7 to end of school day, and then residents are allowed to park in the evening and on weekends.
Okay.
That
answers my question. I'll reach out to you offline about that.
Okay.
Thanks.
But obviously, right now, with school not in session, residents are allowed to park.
Right.
Yeah, throughout the day.
Okay. Item 10.13, Resolution 20-454, resolution accepting grant funds for calendar year 2020 Clean Communities Grant from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.14.
Go ahead, Rolando.
I'm sorry, I had my mute on. Can you provide us the budget for the use of the funds for this allocation?
Yeah, I'll send that separately in a follow-up.
Right.
Also, does this, I guess circling back to what we were talking about earlier with the street cleaning, and I'm just basing this off of the name of the grant. I haven't read through that attachment, honestly. But can some of these funds be devoted, similar to what Rich said, towards like education, encouraging, I don't know, less litter?
Sorry, I muted myself. This grant in particular is related to infrastructure improvements. There is a small educational component that we can typically do, but for the most part, no.
Okay.
Okay, item 10.14, resolution 20-455 is a resolution ratifying the submission of a grant application and authorizing execution of a grant agreement with New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Jersey City Cave and Point Bike Project fiscal year 2021.
Sorry, I want to apologize. When I was responding to Councilwoman Ridley, I was looking at item 14, 10.14. Yeah, there's definitely a component of item 13, the Clean Communities Grant, that can be dedicated to education and awareness. Yes, sorry about that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Item 10.15, resolution 20-456. It's a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application and the execution of a grant agreement with New Jersey Department of Transportation for various roadway improvements fiscal year 2021. Any questions or comments?
Question. Actually, for both 14, 15, and 16, can we get a copy of the grant submission and the budget that's being submitted for each of these applications? And then on 15 in particular, can someone speak to just how this was prioritized as opposed to other sections of the city? I'm not opposed to that, just want to understand how this section of the city, which is over toward Liberty State Park, right? This is the area around there, just east of that, I'm sorry, west of that, and includes all of those kind of warehouses and other facilities around that area.
Yeah, we've submitted grants for different parts of the city at different times. You know, we just, the last one we did was Bergen Square in Journal Square along Bergen Avenue. There are a variety of discussions that we have with the state and the county and other stakeholders, depending on the cycle and the timing. But I think when we send the grant application, it'll probably provide a little more background and color around why we chose this area.
Okay.
Okay, item 10.16, resolution 20-457. It's a resolution authorizing the submission of a grant application and the execution of a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Journal Square Transit Village Improvements Project fiscal year 2021. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, on to item 10.17, resolution 20-458, resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the acceptance of the New Jersey Association of County and City Health Officials for the Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services and the execution of a letter of agreement. Any questions or comments?
Question. The amount that's being allocated to the city as reimbursement coming from the county, from this county association, or New Jersey Association of Counties and City Health Officials. How was that amount determined? Does anyone know? Can you inform on that? And how do we compare with other municipalities, I guess, that are receiving similar funding?
Margaret or Stacy, are either of you on? No. Oh, okay. They were supposed to be here. Let me follow up with that question offline.
Okay. And then the other question will be what the reimbursement. It's reimbursing going back to January of this year, January 20th, and it's not a whole lot of money, 139,000 or thereabouts. Do they already know what they're reimbursing, or are they looking to reimburse for future expenses? And if it's past expenses, I'd like an accounting of that or a report of that.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Item 10.18, resolution 20-459 is a resolution supplementing the manual of bus stop designations of the City of Jersey City, repealing bus stops on Bergen Avenue and Boone Street.
Is Andrew still on?
I am here.
Hi, Andrew. Quick question. I know that we discussed some of the bus stops throughout the city. Are you going through all of the bus stops in the area? I know some of them are a little close together, so underutilized. And I see that this one is being removed. Are we looking to remove any others?
We have certainly in the past. We have been doing it essentially upon request at this point. We haven't we haven't set up a system where we're going through every bus route. It's just been by request. And happy to hear any requests you have. You can certainly follow up with me on that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Item 10.19, Resolution 20-460 is a resolution supplementing the manual of bus stop designations of the City of Jersey City, both repealing and designating various bus stops on Grand Street. Any questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. Item 10.20, Resolution 20-461 is a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to sell various motor vehicles at public auction. Any questions or comments?
Yes. No, my question is very different, which is that the last time there was a previous plan to have auto impounds, multiple auto impounds. When Director Solowski was appointed, I remember discussing that with her and as well, and seeing what the status was on that. So if we can get a status report on if that's still intended or planned, and if not, what's the plan with regard to auto impound, and just to keep it as is, or still looking to expand and have multiple impounds.
Sure, we'll get you an update on that.
Thanks.
Okay. Item 10.21, Resolution 20-462. It's a resolution authorizing an agreement with Passaic County Community College to permit Jersey City fire recruits to attend the Passaic County Public Safety Academy. Any questions or comments?
The hiring to the business administrator, the hiring of the fire recruits, which was completed on July 6th. What is the source of funding? Is that our normal, from the city's budget, or is there a grant involved in this?
No, there's no grant. There's no grant directly here. However, as you've seen, I'm sure, in recent meetings, there are grants that we get for maintaining minimum staffing. So, in essence, sort of, you could say that there is some offsetting of these salaries because it's helping us maintain that minimum staffing.
Can you give us that number from that grant? What's that minimum staffing requirement, and where our staffing currently is?
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Item 10.22, Resolution 20-463. It's a resolution authorizing the execution of an escrow agreement with Hudson County Improvement Authority to pay or reimburse the HCIA for the evaluation of the acquisition of Christ Hospital. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.20, Resolution 20-464, resolution authorizing an agreement with Gold Type Business Machines, Inc. for the support and maintenance of the IP Mobile Net mobile data systems for the Department of Public Safety without public bidding. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. 10.24, Resolution 20-465. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Michel's Oil Company for the purchase and delivery of diesel fuel under the state contract for the Department of Public Works Administrative Services. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.25, Resolution 20-466, a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Beck Engineering, Inc. in connection with the electrical engineering and design construction support services of City Hall, interior lighting, improvements project number 2020-019 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.26, Resolution 467, resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Pincinero Gorgiano Construction LLC for the Van Horst Park Improvement Project number 2019-044 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, on to our next item.
Sorry, Clerk, I had a question on this one.
Yep, go ahead, sorry about that.
So, Bia, just quickly reading this looks like this is related to the Open Space Trust Fund, is that right? And so the question I had was, if this is Open Space Trust Fund, I guess when are the other parks coming? And then we had also discussed pre-COVID the question of looking at the dog runs separate from Open Space Trust Fund, but looking at them. And I was just wondering if you guys could give me an update on sort of both those projects.
Good morning, Council. This is Brian, Division of Architecture. I can let you know that the Open Space Trust Parks are moving along. Van Horst ended up being the first one with this recommendation to award. But the others are shortly to follow, and we're working closely with DPW on the smaller jobs that aren't really worthy of putting out to bid to get the most bang for our dollars. Does that answer your question, Councilman?
That answered the question on the Open Space Trust Fund, just giving me the update. And then where are we, Director, on the dog runs?
Well, the dog runs are kind of on the back burner for right now because a lot of that funding was going to have to come from the capital request. So they will be designed. They're on the back burner right now.
Okay, I mean, obviously, I know we had the conversation pre-COVID, and so I understand that the funding source that will be discussed when we discuss the capital budget. But what we had discussed pre-COVID was developing the plans along the same timeline as the Open Space Trust Fund plan, so that we could go back to the community groups, get their kind of just show them the plans, and then answer the funding question internally amongst ourselves. And so I guess my request is that we, as I know it's COVID, I know it's tough, but as best as we can, we stick to that. Maybe we're some months delayed, understandable, but that we do move forward with those plans and designs.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed. It is on the drawing boards, but I would have to look at all the projects and go over the priority list for it to be there. But it's definitely something that's planned.
Okay, I mean, maybe what I'll do is, if it's okay with you and the BA and Councilman Prinzeri, just start a quick conversation so we can kind of post-COVID maybe sort of come up with a timeline on that project.
That's fine.
That works.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, next item, 10.27, Resolution 20-468, the resolution authorizing the award of professional service contract to Beck Engineering, Inc. in connection with the electrical engineering, design, construction support services for City Hall exterior lighting improvements project number 2020-018 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.28, Resolution 20-469, the resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Business Furniture, Inc. for the purchase, delivery, and installation of new office for City Hall basement offices, pre-owned furniture for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture, project number 2020-010. Any questions?
Council members, just a quick clarification on this project. So we are building offices in the basement, partially / mostly to make extra private office space available for employees in City Hall and other parts of the city. We're hoping that because of some of the safety restrictions that we have in place and some of the issues that we're having with common offices, that we can spread people out using these offices. It was a project that was started pre-COVID, but we're framing it a little differently now and trying to take a different approach as to what we use it for when they open up in hopefully a month or so at this point. So the offices down there have been used in almost 10 years, 8 years or so, something like that. So that's where we're at with this project.
You know, Brian, I got to ask something. You know, we seem to have money for everything. We have money for all the renovations going on in City Hall, money for furniture. What about, you know, but we don't seem to have money for our part-time aides that we've been asking to have back. I don't know about the other council people, but I've been asking for this for almost 2 months now. And it seems like we have an awful lot of money to spend, and that's something that's very important.
Totally understand your concern, Councilman. We can have some additional conversations about the operating budget, but these funds are coming out of the capital budget, and those funds have been sitting there for quite some time.
Well, I've spoken to John Metro, and he's spoken to you. I mean, we've been asking. It's been asking for over a month and a half, almost 2 months. So, you know, it was a shame when they did away with the part-time aides. Nobody even notified us. They just did it, and I think it was wrong.
So Brian, for these offices that are being built for the basement and being furnished, you don't know exactly who's occupying these offices at this time, or?
We don't, only because we're still trying to install partitions and additional safety measures in other offices, and we just started bringing more staff back last week. So we're trying to understand which staff have the biggest challenges coming back to work at this point. For example, the law department has a lot of attorneys that are having multiple people in each of those private offices upstairs. It's possible that if we can't find safe spaces for the attorneys upstairs, we're going to spread them out and move them downstairs. So, you know, if you hear of anything or if you have any suggestions for us, we welcome them. We do have some thoughts, of course, but we're trying to, for example, eliminate rooms like in the building, like room 213, which has 4 or 5 desks in it for cultural affairs in a very small confined space, and it's hard to put partitions up and keep staff safe. So we would spread them out downstairs a little easier.
Now, that basement flooded in the past. Has that been addressed so that if new offices are set up there, that if there should be some major? Yeah,
for the most part, the guidance we've been given is so absent like literally building a wall around the outside of the building that prevents flooding. The guidance we've been given from the federal government and FEMA is to limit the amount of permanent and flood-prone furniture and other equipment down there. So we're not going to be storing any paper documents down there. We're not going to have a lot of furniture or a lot of, you know, expensive equipment. We're going to basically keep it to desks and chairs and things that will have minimal damage during a flood, or things that we can move easily if we needed to.
Okay. My last comment on this is, and perhaps the council president knows something more about this, but I know at one time there was conversations about kind of the caucus room being down there, yep, potentially, and then kind of spreading out that caucus room space into other council offices. Is that still on the table, or is that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not part of this first phase. The first phase we're doing, you know, we could have gone out for a private contractor and spent a lot of money on this, but we're doing most of the work in-house with Public Works. The only thing we're really needing to purchase is the furniture here for this first phase, and these are purely office spaces that we're doing at this point. The caucus room is definitely still in the plans, something we're working towards and designing, and we're ready to go. We just need to figure out an effective way to move forward with that. But we really do want to prioritize the personal office spaces for employees that may not be able to return to work or don't have a safe space right now before we move forward with that. But yes, the idea would be to move the caucus room downstairs, which would open up the second floor caucus area for private offices, additional private offices for council members, if so desired.
That would be a shame to, that caucus room is beautiful. You should leave it alone.
Okay, on to our next item, item 10.29, resolution 20-407, It's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Philip M. Asiano Associates for the purchase and installation of Aviat microwave radio links between New Holloway Building at Jackson Square and the Beacon under state contract for the Department of Administration, Division of Information Technology. Any questions or comments?
Yes, is this part of, I guess, moving Bishop Street to the, to Jackson Square?
No, Councilman, not at this time. This is the Holloway building is the third of the buildings in the complex. As I understand it, that police headquarters is the fourth building.
Okay.
Any additional questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.30, Resolution 20-471. There's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Modern Handling Equipment Company for the purchase and delivery of 3 mobile LED tower light through Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative, formerly known as the National Joint Powers Alliance. Any questions or comments?
Someone just explain this to me, or what's an LED tower light, and was this for OEM?
Yep, hold on. Go into it. Sorry, what?
So Director Kearse is having issues coming into the Microsoft Teams, and they're working on it on his end, but he's watching and can answer questions through Brian and I if necessary.
Sorry. Yeah. So these are LED light towers. We use them at our testing facilities and any emergency scenes. To be honest, it's something that we need to make sure that we have proper scene safety.
So it's just like light on a scene, on a scene or an area or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. So they're basically big floodlights that go up on a very tall pole, run by a generator. They're portable, so you can shine light down in any area that may not have proper lighting, any lighting at all. Maybe you could bring them into a field or any location.
Rolando, they actually used a lot of them during this past rainstorm that we had. They actually bring them up and they highlight the flooded areas so people don't go through them. It's actually a very, very useful.
Okay. Are they replacements or are they additions?
They're additional. We don't have nearly enough when we set up these testing centers, and especially the mobile testing centers, where we're having sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 locations across the city where we're doing this, and we need them on scene just in case it gets a little dark.
Oh, for the testing center specifically?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. And are these going to be reimbursed then by FEMA and county?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember offhand if we already purchased and received these and this is an emergency, or if these are new moving forward.
It doesn't indicate that it's an emergency contract.
Get that information. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Item 10.31, Resolution 20-472 is a resolution authorizing a First Amendment of an agreement with Agency Landscaping Planning LLC to produce the open space element of the city's master plan. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.32, Resolution 20-473, resolution authorizing the First Amendment of agreement with Buckhurst Fish and Jacquard planning to produce the land use element of the city's master plan. Any questions or comments? Okay, item 10.33, resolution 20-474. It's a resolution authorizing the award of competitively bid contract to Donahue, Rhonda, Doria, and Tompkins LLC for accounting services. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.34, resolution, excuse me, 20-475 is a resolution authorizing the award of an open ed contract with City Electric Supply LLC for electric supplies for the Department of Public Works Division of Buildings and Street Maintenance. Hearing no questions or comments. Next item, 10.35, resolution 20-476, resolution ratifying the award of an emergency contract to Kruger International, Inc. for the installation of glass partitions to promote social distancing due to COVID-19. Excuse me, for the Department of Administration Division of Architecture. Any questions or comments?
This will be reimbursed again.
Yeah, 100% reimbursed. Installation start hopefully tomorrow or Wednesday in literally hundreds of work sites and desks across the city and municipal offices.
When was the last CARE Act reimbursement submitted?
We submitted, it was at the end of June, and it was, we're still working through some of the details there about the wire transfer and the dollars. There.
Was that the first one or is that the last?
That was the first one and the only one so far.
Okay. Did we get a copy of that already?
Yes, I sent it out to the last council meeting, but we did not get funds transfer yet from the county.
Okay.
Okay. Item 10.36, resolution 20-477. It's a resolution ratifying emergency contract award to Kenny Print to provide reusable cloth face masks for Jersey City residents due to the city's ongoing response to the coronavirus epidemic. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Next item, 10.37, resolution 20-478. Resolution awarding an emergency contract to Trinity Highway Rentals, Inc., the Yacht Dock Wall Company, for the purchase and delivery of yacht dock protective barriers for the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Any questions or comments?
I'm sorry, can I just go back one, Council President? So the rate on the masks are $4 a mask for a 4-ply, 3-ply mask?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little, is that?
What resolution was this?
This is the resolution 20-477, item 10.36. Am I reading that correctly? It's $4 per mask for 10,000 masks.
That's a lot.
That's an awful lot.
That's a lot.
And we're saying it's the 3-ply mask?
3-ply, according to the description, at least I'm reading.
Let me get more information. Margaret and or Stacy were supposed to be on this, but are not. So let me get more information on that.
It says fabric though, maybe that's it's a fabric 3-ply. Not familiar with that.
Like maybe they're customized, but do we need that?
I don't think we do either. If it's being printed.
Okay, Sean.
Brian, you have some information for us on this?
Yeah, I'm going to follow up and get more information on that.
Okay.
Okay, next item, 10.37. I read that into the record. Any questions or comments on 10.37? Memo was sent to all the council members regarding this from Director Kearse. Item 10.38, resolution 20-479. It's a resolution ratifying emergency contract to Business Furniture, Inc. for the purchase, delivery, and installation of glass partition in various city agencies. Project number 2020-012 through Opiana Partners, formerly U.S. Communities, for Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. India. Could have that wrong name. Sorry about that. Next, item 10.39, resolution 20-480. It's a resolution authorizing a month-to-month extension not to exceed 3 months, effective as of August 1st, 2020, for a contract with Regional Industries LLC for night solid waste recyclable materials collection services for the Department of Public Works, Division of Sanitation.
So where are we with the RFP on the services and the contract? Because I know this is the second or third time it's been extended.
Do we have anyone from Public Works on right now? Anyone?
So, Brian, Sonia tried to contact me if the meeting started, and I can't invite anyone once the meeting starts. So I did tell her if anyone had any questions, just to email them to me and I'll forward them to Sonia.
Okay, thanks. Because as probably the rest of you as well, I'm still receiving a lot of complaints about the work that Regional is doing.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I received a complaint during this meeting. So.
Yeah, really helpful.
Council members, if you can just put a little email together, and you can either send it to me or send it directly to Sonia, I'm sure she'll respond to your concerns and your email.
Yeah, but we should definitely go on the record stating that, you know, every time we have concerns with Regional, they'll come and they'll give us a song and dance. Things are going right when they are not going right. You know, I'd like to know who put in for the bids, you know, for the other companies that maybe put in for the to the state bids, because Regional can't possibly be the only one.
And Regional, when we had them at our council meeting, our caucus meeting almost 2 years ago now, swore up and down that their guys were going to have the illumination on their helmets. They could get the trash bins in between the cars. They said they couldn't see. They were supposed to have people following up with brooms to clean up messes that didn't make it into the truck. And none of these things have been realized. On our commercial corridors, they leave trash on nights when they're the ones that are responsible for picking up, and the list goes on and on. So I cannot express.
Yeah, Brian, I thought we were going to create our own sanitation department. What happened to that?
Okay, so a couple of updates for the council here. So the RFP is due at the end of the month on the 30th of July. We had a little bit of a delay in issuing it because it required state approval. And this is something that we don't do every year. And actually the city has not directly done in many decades. It was formerly being done through the JCIA. So it took the team a little bit longer to get that RFP out the door. The current 3-month extension expires this week, and we just needed really to get through the 31st to make sure we have a new vendor in place. And that's the reason why we're doing another 3-month extension. We're not necessarily trying to kick this can down the road at all. But I will say also that the RFP language, which is a public document and it's available on the city's website, does provide a lot of additional requirements and restrictions for the service, as we've heard from the council about the issues that we've had. So hopefully we'll get some good responses, but we'll see in a few weeks.
Brian, weren't we going to create our own sanitation department?
We've been looking into it, and we're still looking into it. It's not an easy endeavor. There's a lot of equipment that we need to purchase, a lot of numbers we still need to run. You know, we're not totally confident that it would save us money. There are a lot of additional staffing issues and constraints that would be required, but we're still looking into it. It's just not something that we're going to be able to do in the next 2 or 3 or 6 or probably even 12 months at this point.
Okay, thanks for that update. Appreciate it.
Okay. Next item, 10.40. Resolution 20-481 is a resolution awarding an extension of a contract to Gateway Security, Inc. to provide armed and unarmed security guard services on a month-to-month basis not to exceed 3 months for the Department of Public Works Department of Public Works Administrative Services. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.41, Resolution 20-482. It's a resolution authorizing refunds due to overpayments for property tax accounts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
Mr. Clerk,
Yeah.
I do apologize. I just was thinking, going back just to 2. Brian, is there a way that you could break down those numbers for us about what I guess Councilman Bogiano said? You said you don't know if we would save money, but you were thinking about it. Is there like a committee that has been working on like the numbers of how much the trucks and, because it would, give us an opportunity to employ a lot of people. So if there's some way that you could break down those numbers and send it out to the council or?
Yeah, we do have an analysis. We might want to have a closed session to discuss, I think, maybe just because there's some proprietary analysis in there that might affect any responses to RFPs and that sort of thing. I'm not sure legally what we'd want to share publicly about this sort of thing and analyses that we've been doing. Let me circle back with the law department and we'll follow up.
Thanks.
I think we'll review that and we can then determine what can be discussed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next item, 10.42. Resolution 20-483 is a resolution ratifying a First Amendment to an extraordinary unspecifiable service contract with NW Financial Group LLC to provide financial advisory services to the city of Jersey City. Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.43, Resolution 20-484, resolution honoring Dr. Peter J. Donnelly on his 80th birthday.
Good person, really good person.
Yep.
Yep, good person.
Next item, 10.44, Resolution 20-485 is a resolution of the Jersey City Municipal Council accepting a gift of PPE and authorizing the city to execute a hold harmless agreement for UTAX Ltd. Next item, 10.45, Resolution 20-486 is a resolution opposing construction of the New Jersey Transit gas-fired power plant in Kearney, New Jersey, and support for relying on renewable energy technology to power the New Jersey Transit microgrid. Council members, there's also another resolution, item 10.75, resolution opposing construction of New Jersey Transit, it should say gas-fired power plant in Kearney. Are these 2 different resolutions, first off, and should one be withdrawn?
They're both basically saying the same thing. I think one was submitted by my office and I believe another by Councilwoman Prinzeri's office. So I'll circle back with Councilwoman. We're going to pick one and then we'll just co-sponsor it.
Yep, we were working on it sort of parallel and they both went onto the agenda. And she and I have been discussing this and which one we're going to take off. So we'll have that decision shortly.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Let me ask the law department something. Peter, are you on? Nick, are you on?
Peter.
Yes.
Council President.
Peter, is there any way you can notify the council when we are working on a dual type of resolution or ordinance? Or the corporate council would have let us know if somebody was working on pretty much the same. This way here they can have a conversation and, work it out pretty much.
Okay, and we are on 10, 10:45 right now?
10:45, right, but there's a similar or the same resolution, a little different on 10:75.
Okay. Yeah, I think, it to the extent that slipped through the cracks, we apologize about that. But I think, yeah, there should, if there's multiple resolutions with similar, subjects, they should ideally be, just for the sake of consistency, consolidated, or, at least given the opportunity to consolidate.
Could we be notified?
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. Could we be notified? Because it saves time, and then we can come up with one resolution.
Right. Sure.
So could you let your staff know?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
So we're talking about 10:45, correct?
we're on 10:45.
Okay, so just a correction on that. It says 10:44 on the top of the resolution, just
On the resolution itself, it says 10:44.
correct.
I'm not sure why that appeared that way, but we'll look into that.
Okay.
Item 10.46, Resolution 20-487, resolution amending the
Hey,
Jersey.
Sean,
Yes?
I don't want to interrupt you, but I just went to the one before that, and it looks like all of well, at least those two, 1044 and 1045 have the wrong number. So I don't know if it's a system issue. You might have to adjust all of them. I wasn't paying attention to the agenda number at the top of them. So I don't know if it's just those two or not.
Yeah, it looks like 1043 is on twice. So 1043 and then 1043 again for 1044.
So it looks like it might start there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing that on my end, but I'll take a look into that. Council members, thank you. Okay, item 10.46, resolution 20-487 is a resolution amending Jersey City's healthcare benefit waiver plan to terminate said plan by October 1st, 2020.
Someone speak to this? What are we terminating here?
Back, I believe it was in the 90s, there was an incentive provided for city employees to not take the city's healthcare plan, and they would essentially get a payment, an additional payment in addition to their salary to not take that plan. This is something that we don't really know why it was going on back then, and it's been going on for a while. But it's essentially for any employee who has healthcare coverage through another means, for example, a spouse or another dependent or whatever it is, they could use that healthcare coverage, decline coverage from the city, and then get paid an additional amount to not take healthcare coverage from the city. When we were looking through our budget and trying to find ways to cut some costs in light of the COVID crisis here, we realized that this is one of those tough choices that we're going to have to make here for the employees that are declining healthcare coverage. So what this does essentially is ends the waiver, ends that additional check that some employees get for not taking the healthcare coverage, and allows them to continue, allows any employee to continue to have the same level of healthcare that we provide to any employee. It just does not pay any employee to not take that healthcare.
Couldn't you have the reverse effect, which is that the employee will then take their coverage with the city?
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. But we don't expect that to happen based on some guidance that we received from our consultants on this. Okay. But yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Can you provide a list of and the cost, a list of employees who are taking this, as well as the cost of it per employee?
Yep, we can do that.
Thanks.
I'm actually, let me just check with the law department as to what information what personal information we can share there. Maybe we just share the total number and the total number of employees and the total amount that we pay. It's around $2.1 million a year that we pay in these waivers for people who are on some other healthcare coverage. And again, while it is possible that they could elect to take the city's healthcare coverage, because it's likely that they're going to stay on the coverage that they have now from wherever it is.
And the unions have agreed to this as well?
This is not something we need to go through the unions. We're working with them on some other stuff.
I see.
I think it's far more, the elimination of this is becoming more and more, a lot of municipalities and governments had done this in the past, but it's becoming less and less common to the extent that we are one of the few probably that still continue to do it.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Okay, item 10.47, resolution 20-488. It's a resolution authorizing the sale of police K-9 CJ to his handler, Police Sergeant Rossi Barzola. Item 10.48, resolution 20-489. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Jersey Chemicals, Inc. for the purchase of bulk chlorine supplies for Jersey City pools for the Department of Recreation. Any questions or comments?
Just a general question about pool use currently. So pools are, can you just inform the council as to the status of pools in Jersey City? I mean, I know they're open, but
We have Director McLaughlin on the caucus.
Great.
Hello, everyone. So, Councilman, currently the pool at Pavonia Marion is open and has been since the 3rd of July. We are hopeful that we will be opening Lafayette tomorrow. There was an issue with a piece for the pump that has been a bit of a back and forth to acquire, but we anticipate having the health department in today to test the water for opening tomorrow.
And what is the protocol or the safety precautions taken at the pools with COVID?
So there's about 20 pages from the Department of Health that speak to the requirements, and what I can tell you is that we're abiding by all of them. So from a layman's term, which is my level of understanding, right, we're operating at half capacity. What we're doing to ensure health is masks are required on the deck. They are not permitted in the water as for the Department of Health. Lifeguard, all of our staff are wearing face coverings. We have social distancing markers outside for patrons waiting to come into the pool. We have locker attendants, security guards, all of whom also serve in the role of social distancing ambassador as required by the Department of Health. And we have 2-hour swim sessions, and then we close for an hour where everything is disinfected. So any surface that would have been touched by a member, by anybody present, forget about the public or staff, is thoroughly cleaned. We also are doing sign-in sheets, which actually happened before the COVID pandemic. We have always kept sign-in sheets at our pools because, of course, they are for community members, not for people who do not live in Jersey City. But we have those from a contact tracing perspective as well.
Is Pershing Field open?
Pershing Field is not open, Councilman.
Why?
Well, the rules around indoor pools are exponentially more stringent than for the outdoor pools. So we're looking, we'll be looking to open that pool at the end of the summer when the outdoor pools are closed. It's also quite a huge expense to have staff running the pools outdoors, and supporting 3 pools right now is not something I have the staff for.
Pershing Field has quite a few seniors that use that pool, and that pool should be opened.
So which are the pools that are open?
The Pavonia pool is open right now, Councilman. And I'm very hopeful that tomorrow Lafayette will be open as well.
Thank you, Director. And I think that's a cautious approach to this, I think, is the appropriate. So I think that's fine with me.
Thanks, Councilman.
Okay, item 10.49, resolution 20-490 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Jersey Chemicals, Inc. for future repairs as needed for swimming pools for the Department of Recreation. Any questions or comments? Okay. Item 10.50, Resolution 20-491. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Jersey Chemicals for routine and preventive maintenance for Jersey City pools for the Department of Recreation.
So question, have 4 separate resolutions, right, for Jersey Chemicals for the pools?
Yes, Councilwoman.
What is the, I guess, what's the total for all of the contracts?
To the best of my recollection, it's about $110,000 for all 4 contracts in the aggregate.
Okay. All right, item 10.51, Resolution 20-492 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Jersey Chemicals, Inc. for the necessary repairs needed in order to open Jersey City pools for the Department of Recreation. Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
Are these annual? These are always annual expenses. These the 100,000.
If I may, so Councilman, the again, this is the department's first year handling all these contracts, but what I can say is the identified and necessary repairs here in 10.51, those I do not anticipate being every single year. These are some things that seem to have been sort of pushed to the wayside in years past that we needed to address to get things moving the way they needed to be. But things like bulk chlorine, routine and preventative maintenance, those are needed repeatedly. And future repairs, what we did there is we are anticipating if there is an issue, we already have something in the piggy bank for it. So I'm not back before you saying we need more money to fix this or else. So this is an insurance agreement, if you will, for under 10.49 with regards to future potential repairs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 10.52, Resolution 20-493 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of a license agreement with the Jersey City Reservoir Preservation Alliance, Inc. for the purpose of providing public access to Reservoir Number 3 located at 116 Central Avenue. Any questions or comments?
I have a comment related to Reservoir, but more to just, Brian, can you give us an update at, there's no timetable on this, just on the Booton Reservoir as it pertains to kind of working with the Jersey City Public Schools into the future with regard to educational programming and access and so forth?
Sure, yeah, I think that's a long time frame. We'll get you an update on that.
Okay, item 10.53, Resolution 20-494 is a resolution ratifying the emergency contract award to Horizon Structures for the purchase and delivery of double-wide storage building due to coronavirus for the Department of Public Safety, Office of Emergency Management, and Homeland Security. Council members, Director Kearse actually sent a memo to all the council members regarding this resolution as well.
And so this is going to be paid for out of CARE Act money ultimately?
Yep, 100% reimbursable, yep.
So this account number that's currently on there, is that one of the...
That is the CARES account that we established to support these types of purchases that we hope will be reimbursed. And again, we submit the reimbursements based on the guidance and the criteria that we get from the federal government. It is possible that the county comes back and says maybe this is not fully reimbursable or maybe that is not reimbursable at all, but we anticipate everything that we're purchasing here to be fully reimbursed.
So just for my edification on this, Brian, so these accounts, this reimbursements accounts, they have zero money on it and they're kind of running negative balance? Is that, or are you appropriating from other accounts to fill that in order to get the reimbursement and then replenish those other accounts it was borrowed from?
We can temporarily transfer funds from other accounts that have additional monies in them that we don't need right away, and then make the purchase and then get the reimbursement, replenish this COVID account, and then send the money back to the original account. It's a lot of steps. It's all allowed under state law. And as long as we put everything back to where it should have been in the approved budget by the end of the year, we will have no issues. And we don't anticipate any issues. We're taking from, for example, there's a lot of capital dollars from the Bayfront project that are not being used right now. And we just essentially move them into this one account, buy stuff, get reimbursed, move the money back.
It's borrowing from Peter to pay Paul for the short term until the reimbursements.
Yeah, it's the only way to not have to like issue new debt for this sort of thing.
Right. So could I get I guess any of the transfers into these COVID accounts? Could we get an accounting or a report of?
Yeah, we'll get you. Yeah, we'll do a printout of the account activity.
Great.
We'll send it to the whole council. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 10.54, Resolution 20-495 is a resolution authorizing a right of entry agreement with New Jersey Department of Transportation to enter onto city-owned property known as Block 101, Lot 7 near Caucus Road in Jersey City, also known as parcels PE11A, E11B, and SA11C. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.55, Resolution 20-496, resolution awarding an emergency contract to Sims Metal Management for the disposition of commingled recyclable materials on a month-to-month basis, not to exceed 3 months for the Department of Public Works Division of Recycling.
Question here. Actually, Councilman Robinson, are you still with us out there? What was the name of the company that you found? Was it Sims that you filed some complaints against?
I think you're referring to the illegal dumping, maybe that was near Caven Point. Let me look up the information on that. That was an operation with the Quality of Life Task Force and the prosecutor, and actually our audit division as well. Let me look that up.
Okay, but that was it Sims or no?
It wasn't Sims. It was a private group.
Okay, my apologies to Sims. I don't mean to associate them with.
Okay, item 10.56, Resolution 20-497, resolution authorizing award of an open-end contracts to Dave Transmission, Zolan Corporation, A&B Undercar Repair Inc., AGM Transmissions LLC, and Bavise Auto Sales LLC to provide light automotive repairs for the Department of Public Works Division of Automotive Maintenance. Any questions or concerns? Comments? Okay, hearing none. Next one is item 10.57, resolution 20-498, resolution urging the Hudson County Community College to seek a commitment to good wages and benefit service workers, and urging Iron State Development to cancel or not to renew any contracts with planned companies for any of its other buildings in Jersey City.
Council members, a member of 32BJ wanted to be here but couldn't make it last minute. I don't know if you want her to join the council meeting on Wednesday to give a presentation. I can provide some information that she provided to me, if that's okay right now, just a couple of quick bullet points.
Yeah, give us some information.
Yeah, I'll send this to you as well. But long story short, the college is considering selling some land in Journal Square for private development. And for example, and it's the issues that we've seen in other parts of the city that we've been fighting against, planned companies employs door persons at Iron State buildings are paid as low as $27,000 a year. More than 60% of planned employees report that they have no health insurance. And the New Jersey and U.S. Departments of Labor found that Fland has committed wage theft against many employees. They're under investigation for underpaying door persons at an Iron State building in Manhattan. And this resolution is urging Iron State and the Hudson County Community College to stop the use of irresponsible contractors such as planned companies, and urging them to require a commitment to good wages and benefits and responsible service contracting from any developers in Journal Square.
Yeah, Ryan, that transfer of the land is might be a little problem that has come up.
Okay.
What transfer are we speaking of?
The land, the Journal Square.
The Hudson County Community College owns a few smaller properties in the Journal Square area. They are considering consolidating some of their space onto larger to building up instead of out, sort of thing. But as Councilman Boggiano mentioned, it's possible that that deal may not go through. I'm not quite sure of the details there.
Yeah, there's a few problems with this whole issue, Brian.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
All right, 10.58, Resolution 20-499 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service agreement to Prestige Environmental, Inc. to conduct preliminary assessments in 4 public parks located in Jersey City, for the Department of Administration, Division of Engineering, Traffic, and Transportation. Any questions?
How were these parks selected?
Wait. Is Brian Weller still on the?
Yeah, I'm still on. Let me, what I recall, Council, this goes back years ago. It was 2 Green Acres applications for rain gardens. They're relatively small numbers. And historically, we would ask for a waiver of the preliminary assessments. But Green Acres is not accepting that waiver anymore. So we need to hire an LSRP to research the city parks listed. So like I said, those were chosen in a combination with Kate Lawrence and the Parks Coalition to employ the best use of some small rain garden.
Okay.
Not all city parks are capable of receiving a rain garden, so that's really the ultimate determining factor, was where we get the most influential rain garden.
This is grant dollars?
Yeah, it's a Green Acres grant. I believe it's 2, if I recall correctly, and there is a match, but the relatively small numbers. I don't have any information about the grants in front of me, but the city does have to provide some sort of match.
Okay.
Item 10.59, Resolution 20-500, resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Northeast Sweepers and Rentals, Inc. for the purchase of a service contract for Ravo and Matt. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names.
Yep.
Street sweepers for the Department of Public Works, Division of Automotive through Keystone Purchasing Network. Any questions or comments?
Is this for the new ones or the old ones?
This is for the new ones. It's funded through that grant from the MUA. And we're having a lot of great success with the small sweepers. I'm sure you've seen them on sidewalks and in some of the smaller nooks and crannies on our streets and sidewalks across the city, doing a great job keeping certain areas clean.
Yeah, those sidewalk sweepers have been great on the west side of the city and Mallory. So we can get more of them. I think that's fantastic.
Yep. Yep.
So this service contract is a consumption-based contract based on the need for work to be done on them? Or is it, are we paying them $283,000?
This is to purchase new units.
Is this new units or it says service contract?
Wait, hold on. Should
Repairs
be
and maintenance.
Oh, sorry. This is just the, yeah, you're right. I apologize. This is just the, the annual service for the sweepers.
So my question is it based on consumption? Like if there's a problem and they address it, or is it kind of just coming in on a weekly basis?
It's a little of both. So they do come and do periodic regular maintenance. They'll do an inspection of all of the mechanical devices on the vehicles. They will replace parts as needed, but they have a maximum amount of replacements that they provide. So they're not just going to like replace the brushes every 4 days because we want them to. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head how much of the quote unquote consumables that they provide, but it's enough to get us for the most part through the year what they replace through this contract. And it's something that, you know, we've avoided in years past, and it's led to a shorter lifespan for our vehicles. So even though we're spending, you know, it looks like a lot of money, but it's keeping these things in good working order. They're cleaning the streets better, and they're going to last a lot longer.
It's being paid for currently through a grant, you're saying? Because the account number here is an 01 account.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I was thinking about a new purchase that we're working on for an additional mini sweeper, and this is the service contract. So I misspoke on that part. It's not the grant that's covering the purchase of the new device.
Can I get a spend down on this account number and at this point?
Yep.
Thanks.
It's 24 brushes per year per sweeper, if it breaks down.
Excellent.
It sounds like a lot of brushes. So.
And was this budgeted?
Yeah, it was included in the budget.
Is this our first time with this contract? I don't recall if that's what.
No, we when we made the initial purchase, we included the we purchased one as a pilot that we didn't include the service contract on. We did the big purchase of 12 or 10 or 12 maybe a year and a half ago. We did include the service contract then.
It's built in with the sale. So this will be an added expense, annual expense for the servicing of these cars. I have no further questions.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. Item 10.60, Resolution 20-501. It's a resolution authorizing an award of a professional service contract to Rand Oron Design Corp. or ROART to prepare a historic record, plans, and specifications for the first floor tile replacement of City Hall for the Department of Administration Division of Engineering, Traffic, and Transportation. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.61, Resolution 20-502. The resolution authorizing an award of professional service contract to Herbert Musiano LLC in connection with engineering and design services for City Hall non-binary restrooms, project number 2020-020 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.62, Resolution 20-503 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service contracts to T&M Associates to update land and base mapping survey, perform DEP permitting review, and provide ADA compliance recommendations for Reservoir Number 3 safety improvements, project number 2019-007 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. Questions or comments? Hearing none, moving on. 10.63, Resolution 20-504, resolution resolution renewing a professional service agreement with Light the Palmer Greenberg LLC to represent the city of Jersey City, Philip Zaki, James Shea, and various police officers in the matter of Leo Pinkston versus the city of Jersey City. Item 10.64, Resolution 20-505 is a resolution ratifying the renewal professional service agreement with Brock Elcher LLC to represent Steve McGill, James Shea, Jerome Calla, and Mark Bunbury in the matter of Vanessa Gross.
Key status meetings, where we would check in with them on the, the progress of the project. We set up a system where they would give us draft deliverables for us to review. There were a number of interim deliverables that they produced.
So what are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
I think that was an error. I don't know how that happened, but he came on the screen and just appeared and started speaking. I apologize for that. Next one is.
Can I ask, I'm sorry, yep. Council President, go back to 10.63. Can we get a closed session on this? Or actually, you know what, I'll just ask offline about that. My apologies. To the law department, would want to get some update on the status of this litigation.
Sure. Okay, item 10.65, resolution 20-506 is a resolution amending and renewing professional service agreement with Rayon, Coughlin, and Michello LLC to represent the city of Jersey City in various arbitrations. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.66, resolution 20-507 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service contract to Tectonic Engineering and Surveying Consultants PC in connection with environmental engineering services for reservoir number 3, safety improvements project number 2019-007 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture. Hearing no questions or comments. Next item, 10.67, resolution 20-508. It's a resolution renewing professional service agreement with Prusy, McDermott, Mastro, and Murphy PC to represent the city of Jersey City in various union negotiations.
What do we have pending here as far as union negotiations?
Brian, do you know, are you up to speed on the status there?
We've actually had some ongoing negotiations and discussions related to a few separate things, not necessarily the full contract. So there's always a need for this.
What are all the contracts at this point like resolved, or is there anything that's out of that's expired at this point?
641, which wouldn't be covered under this contract, is we've come to a verbal agreement. We're probably going to put the agreement on the next council agenda, and then I believe 245, we're still in the final stages of agreeing on some things there as well.
And at one point, I guess it's the POBA contract, which the council approved, and this is several months, maybe 9 months to a year ago. I'm not sure exactly how long ago it was, but the contract itself had not been signed. Is that after the council's approval? Is everything ratified at this point?
To my knowledge, yes, everything that was approved by council has been ratified.
Okay.
Okay, item 10.68, resolution 20-509 is a resolution determining the form and other details of general obligation refunding bonds for the city of Jersey City and the county of Hudson, New Jersey, and providing for the sale and delivery of such general obligation refunding bonds. Okay. Item 10.69, Resolution 20-510, resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Lenovo US Inc. for the purchase and delivery of Lenovo ThinkPad laptops, docking stations, and monitors under state contract for the Department of Administration, Division of Information Technology. Questions or comments? Moving on. Item 10.70, Resolution 20-511, resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Jersey City and the Jersey City Economic Development Corporation for the purpose of administering CARES funding in the amount of $7,670,000 for small businesses grant program. Any questions or comments?
So, how will the distribution of these dollars be determined?
The EDC will be processing and collecting applications. The application will be available on the JCEDC website. There won't necessarily be any rejections except for anyone that may not be eligible. And there are certain eligibility restrictions based on federal requirements. So we're not just getting a pot of $7 million to distribute as we see fit to every business. You, as a business, are not allowed to have already received funding from other certain places. There are other restrictions on funding disbursement as well. But we will actually need the council's help in getting the word out about this. We want to make sure that every business in the city has access to this application and knows about it and can get funding if they are eligible for it.
And so this is not targeted at the EDC, but I know from my own experience that businesses, whether they're applying to the state or the feds, as well as the city EDC for the past, that the frustration of kind of not knowing the status of one's application and where they stand in the mix. So my request is that there be a great deal of transparency so that somebody can kind of look up and find the status of their application. I don't know if that's possible for them to do. They're a small agency, and whether they can somehow make that available online or in some ways for somebody to be able to check the status and see that their application's been received and
sure.
Anything's out of necessary or still pending and so forth,
sure.
And whatnot. So
sure, we will. That's definitely we're definitely thinking along those lines here and trying to make sure that we're being as transparent and open as possible here, and that we're going to share as much information as we can about every award that is granted through this program as well.
Okay, and Brian, let me ask you a question. I know when we was at the press conference, some of the concerns for the mom and pop businesses was that they couldn't get online to get the application. So there is a process in place to make sure they receive the application also?
Yeah, we are still finalizing that. This announcement was only made a few days ago, but that is a great point that we need to address. We will probably have some sort of paper application that we might be able to hand out to even the council members and the SIDS to disperse to any businesses that may have trouble getting online, that we could then hand deliver to the EDC. But that's great feedback as well.
Brian, also, just another suggestion. I know, for example, with the census, we have people going out and signing them up. Like, for example, if they're getting testing for COVID and the like, would it be possible to maybe work with the SIDS or, you know, some of the council people to do that same thing so we can go into the businesses and help them as well? Or just to input the paper applications, because I know that much paper with the EDC is going to be challenging.
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
I have one question, and I think it's just a piggyback to what the councilwoman just said. The EDC already works. They already have, you know, full-time jobs. They need extra workers just for this this. We're already doing full-time work, and I don't want the small businesses, the mom and pops, like the council president said, to be miss out, but they're gonna need some help over there. This is gonna be a lot, especially with paper applications, online applications, and approving and getting the funds out. I know we don't, you know, the EDC is not a direct employee of ours, but if we can, you know, make sure that they have enough people to handle the workload that they're about to get, because I know all the business owners have been calling me since the press conference and saying, where can we apply? How can we apply? And I just want to make sure that we do have enough people there to get these, you know, to process the claims or process the applications. Sorry.
Sure.
Ryan, just a suggestion, I don't know, this is just a suggestion because, they probably will need the manpower. Because we're not using a lot of recreation staff, because we're not having full recreation, is it possible that some of them be assigned to help out with the application review?
Yeah,
Or-
we'll look into that. A lot of recreation staff have been reassigned to other locations because of COVID issues. So, for example, we have recreation staff helping monitor the parks for social distancing and mask compliance and that sort of thing. But yeah, we'll definitely check with recreation and see if there's anyone else that can be assigned to this.
Okay.
I would suggest EDC for the cities under HEDC, headed up by Mr. Arango and his office.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And also just language access to ensure that there's
Yeah.
in multiple languages available.
Yep.
Will there be also like flyers that we can print out to, like, I guess what the councilwoman said, from very like to get to the business districts? Like if we can get some paper flyers, not just the applications, but you know, language to let people know exactly how they should be, you know, filling these forms out.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, this is still sort of a new allocation for us, so we don't have all the details in place, but we do want to get moving quickly. This is really helpful. We'll definitely get a communications plan together and some flyers for all of you to disperse as you can.
And one final question from me related to this subject, but a separate pot of money. So the council allocated the CDBG reprogram money that went to EDC. It was supposed to go, I guess, before for small business. My understanding is a lot of that did not necessarily get allocated because the state funding, because it was a match.
Yeah.
The state funding, and so what's the? Can you give us? I'd asked before. How much of that money has been allocated and to which businesses?
Yeah.
In Jersey City, and then kind of what's the balance on that, and what's the plans kind of moving forward with regard to those dollars, is to keep it in that small business relief effort, or looking to reprogram it at this point? And I guess I would suggest potentially reprogramming it since we've got this $7 million pot at this point.
Yeah, so unfortunately, as you mentioned, Councilman, it was a match with the state funds. The state funds were not made widely available to Jersey City businesses and any New Jersey businesses, to be honest. We only got 8 valid applications that had the state funding. It was only like $60,000 or $70,000 total. And again, we had allocated a lot of money that we were ready to give away that we just couldn't because of the state actions there. So we can definitely discuss reallocating this to other needs as the council and the mayor and the administration see fit here.
I'm going to recommend rental assistance. That's where I think, and that's all I'll say on that subject at this point. It's been a long meeting already.
Okay, next item, 10.71, Resolution 20-512. It's a resolution ratifying the emergency contract award to Johnson Business Products, Inc. for the purchase and delivery of GoSafe scanners and accessories due to the coronavirus for the Department of Public Safety, Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. questions or comments? Hearing none. Item 10.72, Resolution 20-513 is the resolution authorizing the settlement of tax appeals filed before the Tax Court of New Jersey on various properties. Any questions or concerns? Comments? Hearing none. Item 10.73, Resolution 20-514, resolution authorizing the award of a contract to statewide striping, striping corporation for the citywide traffic striping program, project number 19-013T for the Department of Administration, Division of Engineering. Questions or comments?
Council President,
Go ahead.
sorry, may I go back to the GoSafe scanners? Can you just, Brian, explain that one? What is GoSafe scanner?
Yeah, these are scanners that you've seen if you've come to any municipal facility in the last couple of weeks or so. They are automated devices that check only the body temperature and if a visitor or employee is wearing a mask. So the value here that we get is, instead of having to reassign an employee at every municipal facility to simply be there to scan body temperatures and to make sure everyone's wearing a mask, we have now a device that does this automatically for us. There are no pieces of personal information that these devices store at all. There's no facial recognition or any other types of information that they log in any capacity. It's just a green light or a red light kind of thing.
Got it.
Also fully reimbursed by CARES Act.
Yep.
Okay. Item point 10.74, Resolution 20-515 is a resolution supporting ACR 145 to permanently abolish slavery and involuntary servitude in New Jersey.
What does that mean? What is that all about?
I know.
Council President, I can give an overview if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
So the 13th Amendment obviously bars slavery in the United States. Here I am. The 13th Amendment obviously bars slavery in the United States. However, the one exception is for those who are duly convicted of an offense. So in our prison system, we have people who are making much less than minimum wage by virtue of the 13th Amendment, which says you don't have to pay them in accordance with fair labor standards because they've been duly convicted of an offense and that the work that they're providing in prisons is not subject to minimum wage or other federal requirements. So it's the one carve out of the 13th Amendment, which indentured servitude or slavery is permitted with a limited exception of those convicted of a crime. So what this resolution is supporting is a bill in the state legislature that would send to the people for a referendum, which is required for any state constitutional amendments to limit that, to prohibit that exception of the 13th Amendment in the New Jersey Constitution. Councilman, does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, all right.
Okay, the next item we touched on earlier, it's a resolution that is either going to be combined or we'll know by the council whether.
Can you put it on the screen?
So that's resolution 20-516, item 10.75. It's a resolution opposing the construction of New Jersey Transit gas-fired power plant in Kearney. Okay. And the last resolution, 10.76, resolution 20-517, is a resolution requesting the state legislature to authorize municipalities to create an independent civilian complaint review board.
I would like this to be pulled. I think we should have a closed session and sit down and talk about this because they created this other panel. Nobody ever contacted me or asked me anything. They picked 3 council people are on it. And I don't think they, either one of the 3 know anything about policing. And it should have had representation from both sides. So
I
I
just
think
want to
this,
correct you, Rick. I want to correct you. We did reach out to you. My office reached out.
no, you didn't consult me. You said to me you were forming something, never told me anything else after that.
I'll forward you the email, forward it to him again to you, because he insists that
That's-
nobody reached out to him. He did reach
I should have been,
out. As far as
Joyce,
you know,
Joyce,
two
I
speakers
should have been
up-
consulted, and so should have other police people been consulted. I have 40 years experience in police, and I was never really actually consulted or brought into this whole picture of what was being done.
I
I
disagree.
think-
You receive emails just like every other council person. Now, if you don't read your emails, that is not our fault.
Joyce, sending
again.
emails, this does not explain what's going on. And I'm sorry, Joyce.
I'm
I think that was, I know you asked Danny. Danny had to refuse for certain reasons. I'd like to have been consulted more and have had my opinion voiced.
I disagree with you. Go
Okay, you can disagree, Joyce, but that's,
We can disagree. That's fine. I don't have a problem.
I think this other thing should be pulled and we sit down and we have an open discussion on it.
This is not my resolution. Whoever resolution is up to them.
Whose resolution is it?
Okay?
This is mine.
Please.
My resolution.
Denise,
Let me,
we should sit
let
down.
me explain.
We
This
should sit
isn't
down.
this isn't a city board that's being created with this resolution. What this resolution is doing is trying to encourage the state to allow municipalities to decide whether or not they want to create civilian review boards to review complaints against police officers. It's something that they do in New York City. It's something that the administration has been supportive of. They tried it in Newark, and they're currently going through a court process now. And the state courts are trying to make a determination of whether or not this will be permissible. So this isn't something that we're actually creating here now. We're just encouraging the state to move forward with the process to let municipalities decide, because it's been something that has been beneficial to the community and both the police officers to have a unbiased opinion against, you know, some of these cases that are out there, and allow them to make a recommendation to those in power to make the decision. So it's nothing that we're forming right now or that we have to appoint anyone to. It's just encouraging the state to move forward on making this decision.
Well, we could sit down and have a closed session on this and then possibly bring in some professional police officers, discuss this further, Denise. I mean, I'm not against it totally, but I want to know more about it and I want to have the facts all straight.
Okay, so I'll talk to you about it offline.
Okay, all right,
Denise. Make a decision from there.
Okay, thank you, Denise.
Can I just chime in on that? So I don't know that necessarily that a closed session was warranted, but I'll leave that to you guys to decide and work out with the law department. But if there should be such a meeting, should be held. May I ask to whomever may have information about this? Is there currently state legislation, or what's the status of that at the state level?
Well, my understanding is that currently there are some rules that the Attorney General put out there, and I don't want to, you know, speak for him or put words in his mouth, but it doesn't seem that he's too much in favor of creating civilian review boards with power, more in an advisory capacity. And I think the push now is to give them some sort of authority, and that is what Newark tried to do, and then they were sued. So they're still in court over that, and Jersey City is waiting on the determination of that court case to decide what we're going to do in way of creating a civilian review board with some power. So it's something that the Public Safety Advisory Board has been advocating for some time now and discussing with Director Shea and the administration. But we are waiting to see what the ruling is from Newark, since they were sued for doing it. So I'm hoping that that case concludes soon.
But we could introduce legislation even if it's being litigated currently. But
we run the risk of being sued like Newark, but you know, and holding up the progress of that board being able to do anything.
Council, I might be able to provide a little bit of clarity regarding the litigation process. You're absolutely right, is that the Newark Civilian Complaint Review Board isn't currently in litigation. There was oral argument before the New Jersey Supreme Court back in May, and we're expecting a decision probably relatively soon. But part of the issues in that litigation is a lack of clarity from the state level as to exactly the scope that is permissible for a municipality that wants its own review board, specifically as it relates to subpoena power. So what this resolution does, it says to the state, provide the municipalities clarity as to exactly what the left and right limits of a review board should be with state legislation, so we can rely on that in the creation of whatever a municipality may or may not want to create.
Right. This is something that was advocated by the Jersey City Together and Anti-Violence Coalition, and to get clarification from the state. But are you aware of any legislation actually before the legislature at this point, Mr. Strasser?
I'm not aware of anything that's pending currently.
There was an article that came out, and I need to circle back to her, but I know Assemblywoman McKnight was working on something at the state level, but I don't know exactly where that is.
At this point, I spoke to her. She's going through the process of amending and adjusting it.
Right.
Can I, can I just jump in here with a few thoughts? I agree with pretty much everything Councilwoman Ridley said. I think she laid out the status of where everything is at, and it's important for us to push a resolution. I would just say that in upcoming meetings, I would want as much of the council as possible to work together to, I think, try to aggressively push for a really strong civilian review board. And we've done this in the past where you take the Uber and Lyft legislation that the mayor pursued. When we want to really push the state to take action, we've done so oftentimes not just with resolutions but by passing ordinances. And you can delay the implementation. You can say the ordinance won't go into effect for 90 days, 120 days. But I think it's important for Jersey City to really say that we, our governing body, not just the activists, but our governing body says that we should have a really, really strong civilian review board. So I think it's important for us to push the state because they haven't been clear. But I think we should all think about how we can push it as aggressively as possible. So I just wanted to throw that out there for us to think about.
And I think that's good too, Councilman Solomon, for us to get prepared. So maybe that's something that we can work on as a council, is how exactly we would want that set up.
Denise.
And the only thing I want to add to that is that I wouldn't want anything to go forward until we met with the community, till we met with different community organizations, because I have received calls and they want to be a part of this whole process. So I just don't want us to create some type of ordinance and push it out there and they have no part, have no say into it. Because even the committee that I'm on, and I'm quite sure Denise, the committee that you're on, they will want to have a seat at the table. Then you have the police union that wants to be at the table. So there are quite a few people who really want to be at the table. So I just don't want to push nothing through. I want to make sure everybody's voice is heard, because I am getting calls and concerns too that a lot of people saying they are not representative and no one has came to their organization and had any type of conversation. So I understand what everyone is saying. I understand what you're saying too, James, but I want to make sure before we put anything through that everyone had a seat at the table, and you can meet with both committees. I'm quite sure you can meet with public safety and you can meet with this ad hoc committee that was just formed to have a discussion with them, because everybody wants to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
One last comment on this from me and to the law department with regard to the litigation with Newark against the city of Newark from the police union. Is it still possible for the city of Jersey City to join in the litigation through an amicus brief or amicus curiae of some sort, so that we can join them in this in support of their civilian complaint review board? Could you speak to that?
I think this is Peter. We can take a look. However, I believe it was just argued last month before the state Supreme Court, so it might be too late to formally join in some way. But I will pull that and I will look and see if there's anything we can do.
If there is, I would urge us to take that action as a council and urge the administration to join in an amicus brief or amicus curiae, whatever the legal remedy is.
Well, Denise, can we have a closed session on this then after listening to Joyce and the others? And maybe have some more input into this?
As Councilman Lavaro said, I don't know if a closed session is necessary because there's not really any legal parameters. I mean, Peter, you can jump in and let me know.
You know, I know a couple, well, I'm listening to what's going on here and I know their views and like, I think other views should be heard also.
Okay. But this isn't, just to be clear, it's not changing anything, or it's not, we're not enacting anything. We're just encouraging the state to move forward with letting municipalities decide whether or not they want to have civilian review boards. So there is, you know, of course, still time to have further conversations. This doesn't change anything or make anything different tomorrow necessarily.
Councilman, to answer your question regarding, or address your point about the closed session, under state law, there's only very specific reasons a council can go into closed session. Contract negotiations, litigation, and personnel issues are the most common three. In this particular case, I don't know what the basis would be to go into a closed session to discuss this particular resolution.
Well, you don't think you're going to have
there's no reason that conversation could not be had in a public setting based upon the restrictions we have as to when closed sessions can happen.
Well, you're going to end up having lawsuits over this whole thing, so it's still going on, the meeting.
Okay, any comments or any other further questions? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Can you hold on a second,
Sure.
Sean? I want to ask Brian something. Brian, I've contacted the library through email about cleaning up the Five Corners branch of the library, which is like a pig pen, and the grass hasn't been cut, and they said, oh, it's the city's responsibility. Is it the city's responsibility?
I'm not sure, but we'll address it as quickly as we can. Let me make some calls right after this.
Because they're in a time, okay, all right, never mind.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Please, Brian, please let me know.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn at 1:10 p.m.?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Councilperson Soleil. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Ridley.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, it was Mira Prinderi. I am so sorry.
I
We just heard you. I didn't hear you the other time. I cut you off.
Okay, I apologize. Seconded by
I'm teasing.
Councilperson Prinderi. On the motion to adjourn at 1:10 p.m., all council members by acclamation, please say aye.
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 We are out of here at 1:10 p.m. Thank you so much. Please remain safe, everyone, and have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.